This is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison. Happy opening day. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, home of smoke-free slots and the highest payout percentage in the area. Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. More spins, more wins, more fun. Opening day 2025. And for the second consecutive year, the Brewers opened the MLB season in New York City. Last year, it was against the Mets. This year, it's in the Bronx, taking on the New York Yankees. First pitch this afternoon set for 2:05. Listen to the game right here on Madison's new home of Milwaukee Brewers baseball, 100.5 ESPN. Pre-game coverage starts at 1:30. Special edition of Jim, Matt, and Molly follows Wilde and Tausch from noon until 1:30, getting you set for first pitch here on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Speaking of first pitch, Freddie Peralta gets the opening day start on the mound for the Crew, opposing Carlos Rodon of the Yankees. Again, 2:05 first pitch. If you're looking to watch the game this afternoon, it is exclusively available nationwide on ESPN and the ESPN app. Wilde and Tausch, cousin sub of the day, Justin Garcia of the Bucks Radio Network, starts right now.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com. Three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde.
Is there anything anybody loves more than agreeing with Tausch?
Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher.
I got a hunch this isn't going to be concise either.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio.
I would say that you are pretty easygoing. You're actually probably more easygoing than I am.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Well, you're not easygoing at all.
Hey!
On 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
The Thursday edition. The green and growing better each year. And come see what's brewing doo-doo-doo edition. The opening day edition, meaning that the great Jeff Levering is scheduled to appear. Our Brewers buddy and our Bucks buddy on the same show? Get out of here edition. And the... I think we're going to have to talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers. Thanks to Kwesi Adolfo Mensa edition of Wilde and Tausch. A 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker, streaming live video. Not on Twitter today. Thanks a lot, Justin Garcia. But on Facebook, or no, on Facebook too, Jesse?
Facebook's been an issue.
Well, at least you got YouTube.
2 YouTubes.
And, of course, everything you need on WisconsinOnDemand.com and the Wisconsin On Demand app. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios, although I'm not sure what exactly he's accomplishing there. And I believe inside the Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All Studios, downtown at the Avenue and the 3rd Street Market Hall, proudly wearing his Arizona Wildcats ball cap, as they, I believe, dismissed the Oregon Ducks from the tournament to advance to the Sweet 16. I don't know. I've lost interest since I've lost 75% of my Final Four on my bracket because I'm stupid. It is our Bucks buddy. He was not in Denver, but he was on Bucks Talk and pregame and postgame and halftime and all the stuff he does for us. He's the best. He is the, I'm telling you, even if I didn't like him, I would like his work. It is Justin Garcia, our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better as the Tausch Spring Sabbatical continues. Justin, you don't have any deep vein thrombosis we need to be worried about? There's nothing else going on with you? You're still healthy as a horse?
To the best of my knowledge, yeah, still healthy-ish as a horse, and no deep vein thrombosis to work through for me, but same unfortunately cannot be said for our beloved Bucks.
And by the way, that is not something that we are joking about here. That is blood clots, scary stuff. So not great, but in case you haven't heard this news, because you haven't listened to Justin, which you should always do, Dame Lillard possibly for the season, definitely for the foreseeable future, sidelined with a blood clot in his calf. We don't talk a lot of Bucks on this show unless you're here. You're not one-dimensional, though, so you can talk a lot of different stuff, so it's not going to be 3 hours of Bucks talk, even though you could easily do that and then some. What's the prognosis? What's the hope? And what does this mean for a team that is still waiting for Bobby Portis to get back from his suspension as well? Not great, Bob or Justin.
So Bobby Portis is back for the final 4 games. So you got 6 games left on the Bobby Portis suspension. Jericho Sims is hopefully back before the playoffs, maybe that last week too. So you're going to go from no bigs to all of a sudden this influx of bigs. Ideally, the final week of the season, but the Dame one is the biggest one, obviously. And I know there are statements that have come from the organization. I guess we haven't seen anything in this regard from the Bucks, but hints that we're optimistic he's going to be able to return this season. Last year before that first round series against the Pacers, I had said, look, you got to assume he's not playing. If you read between the lines, doesn't sound good. We all rushed to our computers to look up what is a soleus, and then saw, this Kevin Durant thing, and the thought of this could lead to further injuries and calf issues. So all of that, and the fact that we kept hearing hope. Hey, we hope we're going to have Giannis. It became pretty clear you have to assume he's not playing in that series against the Pacers. This is much more severe. As you mentioned, it's a blood clot. It's not a soft tissue injury. It's something that impacts you potentially for the rest of your life. And the statements of, we're optimistic, we're hopeful that he's going to be able to return for the playoffs, great. I'm no doctor. I just know everyone, the few people I know that have dealt with blood clots. Granted, they're not world-class athletes. It's months that you're on blood thinners. And if you're on blood thinners, you're not playing in a game. So I guess you just have to go forward and say, we got to lean into our defense, and we're going to have to hit a lot of threes. And that's, I suppose, the positive from this season is the defense has been very good all season long. And it's not to take away from Dame as a player, but you make a case you're going to be even better defensively with a guy like Ryan Rollins or even Kevin Porter Jr. on the floor there. Now, you're going to lose a lot offensively, but you're going to be able to really lean into your defense. So I think the long and short of it is you can't just wait for Superman to come. You got to figure out, how do we go forward with this as the team, and if that changes, great. We feel like we're in an even better spot.
Did you feel like, obviously, I get to listen to you on one of my favorite things, by the way, I have Sirius XM, which I use on my phone because my cheap little Nissan Sentra doesn't have it anymore because I'm too cheap to pay for it through the actual car. But Paula has it, and then we have the little account. Is listening to you and Gabe or you and Dave Kane, the local telecast or broadcast on SiriusXM is amazing, and it runs all of our commercials from 620, so I get to hear all of our partners too. But when I listen to you, you seem, I don't want to put words in your mouth. So let me just say this. Where is your, even before this news, where was your hopefulness / concern level about what was realistic to expect from this team in the postseason? Even before this news about Dame.
I mean, there was elevated concern because I think the last time that we were on this show mentioning there weren't as many data points as you had last year that you could point to and say, here's the record against the top teams. Here's, their starting five is one of the best lineups by the numbers in the league, or even where the offense ranked that it's clearly not at right now. So you have fewer of those, but I mean, you still have Giannis, right? And you have a much improved defense than you had a year ago. So any series you play in the Eastern Conference, you're going to have the best player on the floor. And we said before this, you need Damian Lillard to be the second or third best player on the floor, in especially those series against teams like the Cavs and the Celtics, if you get there. But you're going to have the best player on the floor in the series. And it doesn't always indicate success, but it has a pretty strong track record in this league. So you still have that. So in that sense, all hope is not lost. Right now, would you pick the Bucks to beat the Celtics or the Cavaliers in a series? I would venture to guess 9 out of 10. I'm assuming there's one really optimistic fan out there, but 9 out of 10 would say no. And by the numbers, I can't go against that. But you never know what happens once you get to the playoffs and injuries start to happen and the lights shine brighter. I mean, I think that's the big question with the Cleveland Cavaliers right now is, hey, works really well in the regular season. This is the same team by and large and went to 7 games with the Magic in the first round last year. And this is a group outside of Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus for that matter, that doesn't really have a whole lot of postseason experience. So the shots that you get in the playoffs are much different than the regular season. So I think there still is a little bit of a question there with Cleveland. And, you could push back somewhat on the Bucks, but again, Giannis, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, those guys have been on deep playoff runs and won a championship. So it's not a this is it. Season is over. You got to reimagine everything you're doing in this offseason. You still have Giannis, and look, if everything they've said is accurate and Damian Lillard can, in fact, return at some point this season, great. That increases the optimism even more. But for the time being, you just got to lean into we have arguably the best player in the world, and we have a defense that is going to translate to the playoffs that we feel strongly in.
I know some people who listen to the show think I don't have a plan, which I can totally understand why they would view it that way, especially when I'm on with old boy. But I ask this question because it's going to lead into something that Jesse actually wanted to try and do yesterday, but I think it works out better because not only do we have our Bucks buddy here, and not only do we have our Brewers buddy, Jeff Levering, scheduled to appear, but it is opening day for the Brewers. And opening day, whether it's whatever sport it is, you're always filled with optimism. Unless you're a fan of like the Cleveland Browns or the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Oakland, whatever they are now, Athletics. Are they just a team now with no location?
They're just the Athletics.
Athletics.
There's no mention of the city.
That's a weird deal, man. But this is a really good idea by Jesse, which I can't believe I just said that. We're going to take your optimism temperature on all teams across the spectrum of Wisconsin sports because we've got a Wisconsin and a Marquette basketball season that both just ended shy of the Sweet 16. Certainly there's always questions about where the Badger football team is and where it's headed. But the Bucks are approaching the postseason. The Brewers are kicking off their season. And the Packers, as you watched free agency play out, I'm guessing you weren't overly giddy as a Packers fan about what they did, even if you think Mecole Hardman is going to be their new Tyreek Hill. So we'll get into the Optimist Club, as Jesse calls it, next with our Bucks buddy Justin Garcia here as our cousin sub of the day for Tausch. Cousin subs, we believe in better. And speaking of Tausch, here he is telling us about Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Mark Tauscher here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Well, we talk a lot about the unprecedented quality and service you get from Pella. But talking to the people who work there, you can tell how much they genuinely love what they do. Pella's team is with you from start to finish. They don't disappear after the sale. Right now, take advantage of windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Certain restrictions do apply. This offer ends March 31st, 2025. Get started today at PellaWI.com.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets to the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois, age 21 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
The sound of summer is on ESPN Madison.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Madison's home of the Brewers.
Fly ball right field. Hit it. Ton. We're tied.
Catch every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
Get up. Get out of here. Gone.
Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by Starion Bank and Sinden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
Is it Waukesha or Waukesha? Brat or Brat? Is it ever okay to vacation in Minnesota? Wisconsinites can't agree on everything, but we can agree getting paid earlier is better. That's why UW Credit Union is making members direct deposits available up to 2 days earlier. Early payday at UW Credit Union. Join today. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit uwcu.org for details.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. Well, if you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Service. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote. With fast, professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
The great Justin Garcia. How many times has that phrase been uttered? I mean it, though. Is our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better.
It seemed unnecessary.
What?
I'm slamming our guy, JG.
Not slamming him at all. I believe he is the great Justin Garcia. Other people maybe don't agree. That's all. Don't roll your eyes at me.
I have a question about this song, by the way.
It's not maybe either. They definitely don't.
So every year on opening day, my dad says, are you going to play the baseball song? This is the baseball song.
Center field, John Fogerty.
Mm-hmm.
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
And I was talking to him on my drive-in this morning, called him to say happy opening day. Usher George, always celebrating opening day, whether it's home or away.
Does he get into his old uniform from County Stadium or Miller Park?
Yeah, I like to think so. He's suiting up today.
Walking around the house.
Pouring
like
himself
Ron
an
Wolf wearing his
old-fashioned.
Hall of Fame jacket.
Sitting down in the recliner, yep. He said, I think you should play this song every break coming back today. And I said, that seems excessive.
Yeah. So does that mean it's going to be every other break?
I mean,
or this is a one-hit wonder
It is my
for us?
dad. He doesn't ask much of the show. Ever. He's one of our best fans. Do we play this? How often do we play the song? Because he said every break, which seems like too much. Like, we've got a lot of great music we want to play today. But I don't want to let him down.
I think that ship is
too late for that.
Sorry. All right, never mind. Sorry, Dad.
What about once an hour? Is that a compromise?
Sure. Yeah. 1 an hour we'll go. We'll do that. Yeah.
Are there other baseball songs?
Take me out to the ball game. Roll
like
out the
popular
barrel.
songs, like ones that would have been like this was a
God Bless
I remember,
America.
Yeah, well, I remember when this song came out, and I think on what used to be WKTI, the music radio station. Justin, you grew up in Milwaukee. You know this. There was an edition that they made of this song that had you're a little younger than me, so maybe you're not even old enough for this. But George Bamberger was the manager, and they had they recorded certain things from him, and there's a drop in there where he would say, "I'm George Bamberger and I'm the coach," and so they Milwaukee-ized it. So if you could get your hands on that edition, Jesse, count me in. They could play it more than once an hour. But give Usher George some homework. How good is he with the Google machine?
Not good.
Okay. Well, then never mind.
Wild Things, someone says in the YouTube comment. Are we counting that as a baseball song?
Sure. I mean, it's a signature song in a baseball movie that we all love, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have to think about some more. All right, Jesse, this is supposed to be your moment to shine, which I sometimes I wonder if your best ideas are there because they're really good ideas or they're vehicles for you to get more airtime and then they turn out to be good ideas as a bonus.
Usually I steal them from other people. Yeah.
Is that the case here?
No, as far as I know.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, well, take it away, the king of the Optimist Club.
So, as you mentioned, Jason, on opening day, we always want to be optimistic about the prospects for the Brewers in the 2025 season, and really any opening day, when the Packers take to the field for the first time in early September, when the Badgers run out onto Camp Randall Stadium for the first time on a Thursday night against Miami, Ohio in late August. There's always optimism about the start of a season. This is the interesting case that we have today, that this is the start of the Brewers season where I think fans, myself included, can be optimistic that coming off a NL Central Division championship, many of the same players returning this year, feeling pretty good about the state of the team. We like where we're at heading into this 2025 season. Yesterday, I'm listening to Kyle Bruston Nortman, and they're talking about the Green Bay.
Great show.
They're talking about great show weekdays at 2 on ESPN Wisconsin. They're talking about how Jordan Love stepped into a rough situation in Green Bay, and it seems like morale is low for the Packers at this point of the offseason based on the free agency signings. Badger football, we know morale is low after not making a bowl game for the first time in forever. Badger basketball, Marquette basketball, morale is kind of down after what seemed to be a generally positive season with subpar performances in the NCAA tournament based on what each fan base was expecting. So I don't know where the optimism actually is the most right now for the Wisconsin sports fan. I think it's with the Brewers as they suit up for opening day today, even more so than the Packers or any of the other teams. Any objections from you, Justin or Jason?
Yes. Yeah. I still think it's the Packers, and by the numbers, it has to be the Packers because that's where it's probably easiest in pro sports to break through and win a champion. For all the gripes you have of the offseason and they haven't addressed receiver or this or that, you still have a better chance to win and advance in the NFL than you do in Major League Baseball. The Brewers division is getting better as well. The payroll remains a pretty big thing. Like, we love to romanticize over baseball is back and the Brewers, but you got better chances in football than you do baseball, basketball, the injuries and everything else there. And college is a totally different game because of NIL. So I would hardly push back and say I think it's the Packers that you have to be most optimistic around.
That's what I mean about the great Justin Garcia. He's not just a Bucks guy. And you're 1,000% right on that. Now, oddly enough, I just in my inbox 2025 opening NFL win total projections. From my buddy Jimmy Shapiro, who sent this along from Bet Online. Would you like to guess where they have set the Packers over-under number of victories for the 2025 NFL season? Jesse, I will let you guess first.
They're playing a third-place schedule, right? Yeah, Minnesota was second place. So third-place schedule seems favorable. AFC North are the opponents this year. That's a pretty good division. 10.5.
So since Jesse is just spewing some facts, some maybe guesswork, the Packers' home schedule, their opponents, obviously the three division teams, they went 1-5 in their own division last year, but lots of changes in the division. Their home games against the Philadelphia Eagles, the Washington Commanders, those are two teams that played in the NFC title game last year, the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, and then the lowly Carolina Panthers. Their road games, in addition to the division, are at Dallas, at the Giants, at the Browns, at the Steelers, or per Ben Brust's reports, against the Steelers in Dublin, Ireland, at Denver, and at Arizona. So without the draft having occurred yet, I look at that schedule and say, even with the uncertainty of the Lions losing both coordinators, the Vikings having either J.J. McCarthy or Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback, and the Bears seemingly shoring up their offensive line to maybe give their golden child quarterback a chance to succeed, that looks on paper like a harder schedule than they faced last year. Is that fair, Justin? Would you say that's fair? Yeah. Okay. So while I still agree with Justin as that is the team with the most optimism that I would have, I don't think it's going to be easy. So 9.5, they go 10-7. That's a one fewer win than they had this past season, but that might actually be as good or better of a team if that ends up being their record, given who they have to face. So I think that's a tough. Again, I don't bet, but if I did, I'm not sure that I would know what to take on that. I would probably take more, but I wouldn't do it with a boatload of conviction, just because there's a lot of things that could happen with that schedule.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one game. That's what makes it, like, this is where I would put my eggs in that basket of where do you have more optimism? Can the Packers win one game and then win one game and then win one game? Sure, but we've seen wild card teams go further and further in Major League Baseball. We saw the Miami Heat as the team that went to the NBA Finals out of the play-in tournament. But other than that, you got to be a top 3 seed, is what history indicates, to go far and win a championship in the NBA. Bucks aren't going to be a top 3 seed this year. The go-forward path, who knows? They got a lot of interesting options this offseason. The Brewers, as we mentioned, you got divisional teams that the Cubs are going to continue to spend money and get better, you would assume. The Reds are still a very young team with some talent. Cardinals are down on it, but it's a tough division historically that the Brewers are in. And it's not winning one game. It's winning series. And that's where it becomes more complex. That's why you see these teams break through, because of the odds that are in. Can you do this one time and then do it one more time versus you got to be the better team to win 4 out of 7 games or 3 out of 5 games.
Jesse, so where is your optimism as you're wearing your Brewers ball and glove logo? Which that looks like, is that the updated one or is that that's the updated one? All right, I could see from the seams that it's the updated one.
A year or two ago. Yeah, I love this one. My brother-in-law
Does it
Nick
still
got
fit
this
you,
for
or
me.
is it a little too baggy now because you lost all that weight?
It's a little big, but we're good. We're good.
You look exquisite.
Thanks to Madison weight loss. Mm-hmm.
You and I, we had Pat Murphy on the show. I really like him. Like there's something about him that, and every time I see him interviewed, again, as a reporter, do I love having your kids at the press conferences after games? I don't. But I like everything else about him, including the fact that he feels like the kind of guy you would love to play for. Is that enough? Is Brandon Woodruff being back enough? Is there infield jug enough? Is Jackson Churio enough for them to be division champs? Is the weakness of the division potentially enough for them to win the division?
Yeah, I feel like the Reds have been picked to be a sneaky team in the NL Central for 8 years in a row, and they just never do it, so I'm not too worried about them yet. The Cubs are the favorite by the betting odds to win the NL Central this year, which, okay, maybe.
You're so you just I don't know if it's the Cubs or if it's Council or what, but man,
I was
bitter beer face, man.
I was in Dubuque last week, and did I maybe open the ESPN Bet app before I left the great state of Iowa and put a friendly wager down on the Brewers to win the National League Central Division this year? Yes, I did. Once the postseason starts, because the Brewers have. The phrase is bites at the apple without ever getting over the hump in the playoffs when it matters most. And that was on full display again last year when the Mets came to town and took care of the Brewers in 3 games. That's where the pessimism comes from about the Brewers, but optimistically, the regular season looks to be good again. The pitching staff is solid. The lineup is great with Churio leading the way as the great young player. Yelich is still around. There's still a lot of good stuff to be excited about as a Brewers fan all season long. It's just, can they get it done in the playoffs? And I wish that wasn't the mentality, knowing where this team was 10 years ago or even further back when it was forever before they had reached the playoffs. We should be thankful that they're making the playoffs every year, but the expectation has now been raised. The bar has been raised where it's not about what you do in the regular season. It's all about what you do in the playoffs.
Which, again, is what I hate about where we're at in sports. You just referred to the Wisconsin and the Marquette basketball seasons in the same way, and I do not want to go down the road of successful or failure of a season, because that just gets me more mad. Somewhere Tony Cartagena, who I love like my younger brother, I still am mad at him for the 2016 argument that we had in the infancy of this show, that the 2016 season for the Packers was a failure, even though Rodgers said run the table, and that clearly not talented enough team reached the NFC Championship game, and it provided one of the greatest moments in Packers history with the completion to Jared Cook and then Mason Crosby kicking a game-winning 51-yarder, not once but twice in Dallas. But that's where we're at, right? That's how the Bucs are viewed. That's how certainly the Packers are now viewed. They had that 1 year of low expectations because it was Love's first year as the starter. But then they went out and they beat the Cowboys on the road and they hung with the 49ers for 3.5 quarters, and the expectation changed. And then they lost all two games to end the regular season, lost their playoff game, and now we look at them completely differently than we did a year ago. We're looking at the Brewers and we're looking at all these playoff failures, which, again, I would rather have playoff failures than what the Brewers had from about 2000 or not even that, like 1990.
No, like after 1992 up until 2008, basically. 2007 when they finally got to 500.
Right. So I as you guys know, I am a big Journey guy, and I'm not talking about the band. And the journey for like the Badger men's basketball team of being picked 12th and doing some of the things they did. Yes, they got beat by BYU, and that sucks. And they haven't been to the Sweet 16 since 2017. That's all fair criticism. But I don't know. I have optimism about that program because it looks like, unlike some other coaches, Greg Gard at least has adapted, both in terms of how he runs an offense and how he builds a roster in the NIL era. Now, you better get lucky with another John Tonje type guy to make that happen, but the everything is an abject failure if you don't play in the Super Bowl or you don't play in the NBA Finals. I don't know. Am I being Pollyanna-ish to view it that way, Justin? Is that foolish of me to feel that way?
I don't know. It's tough for me because I used to really feel that way. Just very strongly black and white. Did you succeed or did you not succeed? But to that last point, or one of the last ones you made, like I remember what it was like growing up watching the Brewers and going to County Stadium to see the opposing players and investing in guys like Mark Newfield and John Jaha and Dave Nielsen and all that type, right? Like I remember going to those games and just thinking, man, it'd be really nice if the Brewers were even just better than average one of these years, and thinking about things like the playoffs and how inconceivable that was for the Brewers, for the Bucks too. Like, go back to the early 90s and tell somebody, hey, 30 years from now, this team's going to win an NBA championship. You would have thought we were crazy because it's one of 5 to 6 teams that can win, and you don't have the best player. So on the one hand, like, you do want to keep that perspective of, do you remember what this was like to follow those teams that were winning 70 games if they were lucky in the case of the Brewers? I mean, I started in radio in the early 2000s, and one of my jobs as an intern at WTMJ was covering the 2003 Milwaukee Brewers, and that was quite an experience to see that group with, the guys like Scott Podsednik, Brooks Kieschnick, and thinking about the guys that came through Milwaukee and just the Brewers getting their brains beaten in. So there is that perspective, too, of, look, I get it's disappointing to come so close and lose in the postseason, but would you rather suffer through going 70 and 92 year after year after year or worse? And same with the Bucks. Would you rather get back to when this team was, we got to figure out, is there a way we can get the 8th seed and hopefully win 35 games?
In Justin's first season in 2003, the Milwaukee Brewers finished 6th in the NL Central with a 68 and 94 record.
Woof. Yeah, it was quite a time at the ballpark that season. I think that was Jerry Royster, right, as the manager.
Was that the year Jose?
It's Ned Yost.
Was it still Ned?
Oh.
Okay.
Was that the year Jose Hernandez got benched with like
No,
2 weeks to go to avoid the strikeout record?
I think a year or two before that.
2002, as I scroll through Baseball Reference, 2002, the Milwaukee Brewers went 56 and 106.
That was a tough one.
Davey Lopes 3-12, followed by Jerry Royster going 53 and 94 the rest of the way.
It was quite a time.
What a time to be alive.
It was something else. Just looking forward to, this team's coming into town. I'll get a chance to see Barry Bonds. Hey, we'll get a chance to see this guy.
The roof was still new at the time, so people would come and stay for after the game. They would do the roof.
Well, yeah, and one of the things that I do remember most was, I don't remember if it was 2003 because I did this for 2 summers. It was either 2003 or 2004, but Corey Hart got called up and made his debut, and the Brewers brought him on as a pinch hitter late in the game, and he just knocked the crap out of a ball foul. That wasn't a home run, but hey, if it would have stayed fair, that's a home run. And like the optimism in the stadium of, we got something here with this guy, he promptly struck out.
Slider low and away tend to do that to him.
Yeah. The 2004 Brewers played one fewer game, apparently, because they went 67-94 the next year.
Didn't need to make up that rain out in Pittsburgh.
Why bother? Yeah.
All right, we got more with Justin Garcia as our Cousin Sub of the day. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. But it is opening day. The Brewers opening the 2025 season in New York against the Yankees with our buddy Bill Schroeder on the call on ESPN with Joe Buck. And I couldn't be happier for Bill. I'm glad that national viewers will get a taste of how great he is. We are lucky to have so many great color analysts, except on Badger football on the radio, throughout our sports teams. But it is opening day, and so it's time to get ready for the home opener, which is right around the corner on Monday. Get those tailgate grills out and grab your groceries. Opening day in Milwaukee is almost here. The unofficial start to summer happens on Monday with the Brewers home opener, and ESPN Wisconsin will be all over it. Sponsored by Carbless, ready-to-drink cocktails. We'll have live shows from inside the ballpark, special guests all day, and an unmatched excitement for the crew as ESPN Wisconsin will carry every pitch of the home opener. Opening day on ESPN Wisconsin is sponsored by Carbless. Grab a pack today and be the MVP of your tailgate. Happy baseball season. More with Justin Garcia, our Cousin Sub of the day. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Brewers.
They're really good at identifying talent. They're really good at developing talent.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
This is one of the best organizations in Major League Baseball.
100.5 ESPN.
Have you been waiting to buy your next home? Stop. Now is the time to get housed. What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Nobody has a crystal ball to know what the future holds. The longer you wait to find your next home, the better the chance you'll be paying more for it than you would be today. Don't miss out on what could be the best opportunity to find your dream home. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to help start your search. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. Let's get house.
Being a Pella consultant means helping people build their dreams.
Customers really appreciate just how prepared we are. All the samples, the videos, pictures.
We are with you from start to finish. You literally have a friend from beginning to end and beyond with your project.
Our Pella team simplifies the process, taking time to listen and find the right solution for you. And right now, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2025.
Mark Tusher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison. Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
Bikers need protection, not just from other drivers, but unfortunately from insurance companies too. If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Bikers are often blamed for causing the accident because the insurance companies simply don't want to pay. At Gruber Law Offices, we've been fighting for injured bikers and their families for more than 30 years. Trust us to fight for what you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
We're on the Badgers.
It was successful, but also disappointing. That's just what this season was. I don't think any of us went into the season going, they're going to be a 3 seed. They're going to be really good this year. They're going to be competing for a Big Ten championship again.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Continuing with Justin Garcia, our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better as we get ready for the Brewers opener against the Yankees. I am warning you now, there will be some conversation about Aaron Rodgers on today's program. I hope that you'll stay, because I know some of you don't like that idea. But if you heard some of the things, and maybe Jesse will have audio of Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah from the Vikings website, because talk about a guy twisted himself into a pretzel trying to say that J.J. McCarthy's our guy. But if he's not, we still have Aaron Rodgers' number. That's what occurred yesterday with the Vikings media. So I'll be curious to see how people react. But I hope you'll stick around. I really do. And I know Justin will, because he's here for the entire show. So at least I know you'll
would you rather sit through the Brewers winning 65 games or never have to see Aaron Rodgers play? It's basically.
I'm not sure. That might be a tough call, actually, for some. Jesse, one more thing about the Brewers, though. So we know that you hate is a strong word, and I don't like to use it. How would you describe how you feel about Craig Counsell?
Despise? I hate the Chicago Cubs. I really don't like Craig Counsell.
Doesn't matter what he accomplished. Doesn't matter that he's a local guy like yourself. Grew up on the other side of Milwaukee. But you can't.
Dad also worked at the stadium. And
You
got a lot in common.
As John Anderson outlined yesterday with his being a Missouri guy and his hate for Kansas and all things Jayhawks, that re-inspired me on opening day here, 2025. I appreciate that Craig Counsell helped get the Brewers to new heights, and I hope the door hit him on the way out as he left for Chicago. And if he would have just been honest and said, I just want the money, and I'm just going to bolt town because I want to go win, and this team has a bunch of money they can spend on players, like, at least be honest with us. Don't say, I need a new professional challenge. You didn't win anything. You didn't get to the World Series. Granted, he didn't even win the World Series. He didn't get to a World Series. Win a National League pennant, then we can talk about that when you want a new professional challenge. You didn't do it. This isn't Joe Madden leaving the Cubs being like, I did the best I could. That's not what this is. Just be honest with us.
If he said, I'm going to the Cubs for the money, you would hold no ill will towards him.
I mean, would I hold ill will toward him no matter what if he left the Brewers for the Cubs? Yes. To the same degree where it felt like he was just lying up at a microphone saying, I just needed a new challenge. It is
a new challenge.
It sure is. And then
turned out to be more of a challenge than he thought.
I can't believe the fans are reacting the way that they have. And then he'd lean into it at spring training last year.
Did he ever say, I can't believe the fans are reacting the way
along those lines? Yes, I could find the exact quote. I know you're a stickler for that kind of thing.
I'm going to need you to find that exact quote.
I'll find the exact. You said, I can't believe this has been the reaction, or whatever it was along those lines. Come on, dude. I hate the Cubs so much.
I'm with you there, but also, and Jesse, you're the wrong example for this, but, if we have a problem with Craig Counsell going to the Cubs and leaving the Brewers and doing it for the money, stay in the same job for the rest of your life. Never leave. Never go anywhere else. Never look for more money and a new challenge. Just job you have, ride it out for life. If that's the stance that you have on Craig Counsell.
Bullstream TV. Never calling a college program or an NFL team. Nope, nothing. You're just going to stick with Bullstream TV and Prep Mania.
This was the argument that we had when this came up a year and a half ago. It is not the same when you're a Major League Baseball manager with the background that Craig Counsell has versus being a up-and-coming radio person.
You're not up-and-coming anymore.
Yeah,
this is like the young players kind of a thing.
It is not the same comp. It is not the same as an
accountant. Riley is up and coming.
It is not the same as an accountant.
But
at
how
a
is it
local
not
firm.
the same job when this is your job?
When you are embedded in the Brewers community, when you have won 2 World Series in walk-off at 2 of the most legendary World Series wins Craig Counsell was a part of. Correct. Which is why that's the thing that he has left to do. Is lead the Brewers to a first World Series title. When your dad works for the team, and when you played for the team, and when you came up professionally post-baseball career, leading the team, that is what you have left to do. It's different than anybody else say, you wouldn't take the money to go work for another state. That's not what this is. It's very different.
Maybe he just doesn't think that they'll ever be able to do that. And he'd like to win a World Series as a manager, having done it as a player twice, I believe, right? Once in Arizona and once in Miami. Maybe he just doesn't believe that. And look, I understand that this quote was taken out of context, but the line about is the responsibility of ownership to win a World Series or give people entertainment and enjoyment and memories. Maybe he just thinks that the way the Major League Baseball cookie crumbles with the outspending of smaller market teams, maybe he just thought he's never going to win a World Series as a manager here. And
maybe he thinks the apple's bigger in Chicago.
Right.
You get more bites at a bigger. So, Jesse, do you think, along the lines of what we were talking about before, if you don't win a championship, is that a failure?
It depends what the expectations are going into a season. No, I do not think that in baseball especially, not winning a championship makes a season a failure. I would say that's not true in any
last year's Packers
sport.
season, is that a failure?
Yes, because there wasn't growth from the previous season. They ended up being in almost the exact same position, including being the 7th seed losing. And actually, it ended up worse. They went backwards because they lost in the first round of the playoffs. So, yeah, last season was a failure for the Packers organization because they didn't take a step forward.
Well, I got to be honest. That's not the response I expected, and I can't do quite as much with that. I was assuming you would be the yes, it is, and we could point out, well, if that's the case, you buy into sports as a business. So, in that sense, what's the problem with Craig Counsell?
Is there anyone in sports at this point that you feel this strongly about, Jesse, in a negative way?
No. Public enemy number one. Public enemy number one remains Craig Counsell. I don't know who number 2 is.
All right, we have other stuff I want to get to, but I want to open up the Carbless Talk and text line. List is more.
PJ
844.
Fleck. He's up there.
Yeah, but I guess, but he's nowhere close to how you feel.
There's tier 1 is Craig Counsell, and then it's maybe skip a tier to tier 3, PJ Fleck.
Do you feel like Jesse Nelson? Like, we are more than a year removed from him leaving for the Cubs, and the Cubs stunk last year, right? The Brewers went to the playoffs. We love Pat Murphy, who, by the way, is Craig Counsell's biggest mentor and friend. There's a lot of there's enough reason to say bygones are bygones, but not for Jesse. So what I want to know from you, 844-770-3776, as this new season dawns, optimism and hope springs eternal. Are you still heartbroken? Because look, I'm a grudge holder. We know that. But the intensity with which Jesse holds this grudge, I am curious if this is commonplace among Brewers fans or if Jesse is the outlier. So you can text us, call us, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Are you like Jesse, or is Jesse being a little bit douchey? Like, is it a little bit too much? I think that's okay with the FCC, by the way. I've used it previously. I want to know. And Jesse, maybe you will be supported in this. I'm also going to poll it. So we will put that on a Twitter poll as well. Jesse is a generally nice fellow. Now, does he take a lot of days off? Does he give a lot of people around? Does he delegate a lot of his workload? He does. Do we give him a hard time on this show? We do. But I think Jesse's a good person. But overall, like, the level of vitriol you feel for him, it feels unhealthy to me. Have you considered that? He's answering a phone call, I'm sure.
I was, sorry.
That's what I figured. No, it's fine. We're going to hear from Tausch telling us about Kohler Services, and then we're going to poll this. We're going to take your calls or your texts on the Carbless Talk and text line. This is more, 844-770-3776. Do you hate Craig Counsell as much as Jesse does? I hope the answer is overwhelmingly no, and that there are only a handful of outliers who feel this intensely like Jesse does. But we're going to find out together next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Mark Tauscher here, and if you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family-owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life, and this month only. Get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Brewers baseball is in the air.
It's back, and it is up, and it is gone. A walk-off homer for Vinny Capra.
Spring back into the baseball season on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. 8 years since Wisconsin men's basketball reached the NCAA tournament's second weekend, while in football, 8 years since the program has won a New Year's Six bowl game. Program's hungry to fight for a title, but is it realistically in the cards? Brad Nortman with his perspective during Wilde and Tausch.
There are moments where it feels like you're close, but taken holistically, those look like blips. I think in order to win a championship, you have to consistently be that team, because there's other teams that are just as talented, if not more talented. So you have to be able to have so many opportunities opportunities to win a national championship, and then the stars align when you do it.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Is it Waukesha or Waukesha? Brat or Brat? Is it ever okay to vacation in Minnesota? Wisconsinites can't agree on everything, but we can agree getting paid earlier is better. That's why UW Credit Union is making members direct deposits available up to 2 days earlier. Early payday at UW Credit Union. Join today. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit uwcu.org for details.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
Relive every high-flying dunk.
And a one-hand slam.
And fantastic finish.
We are going to overtime, folks.
From the boys' state basketball tournament.
Back-to-back state championships for the Wisconsin Lutheran Vikings.
Download all 5 state championship games on Wisconsin On Demand or wherever you get your podcasts.
Being a Pella consultant means helping people build their dreams.
Customers really appreciate just how prepared we are. All the samples, the videos, pictures.
We are with you from start to finish. You literally have a friend from beginning to end and beyond with your project.
Our Pella team simplifies the process, taking time to listen and find the right solution for you. And right now, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2025.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. You can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets for the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone where you'll be taken care of like a first-round pick. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois. Age 21 years or older. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
I'm still working on the poll question because I don't want to slant it against Jesse. So I'm trying to come up with kind of mundane words that are not, that don't have a connotation to them. I think this is unhealthy, personally. I mean, unless he, like, kidnapped your dog or did something really terrible to you, the intensity with which you dislike him is, in my opinion, unhealthy. And I think Craig Counsell would agree with me, even though there were people that defaced the sign at his baseball field, et cetera, et cetera. I am amazed that people feel this strongly. And, Jesse, have you come across people that feel as strongly as you?
I sure have. Andrew in Fitchburg on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Jesse is spot on with his hate of Craig Counsell. It's one thing to leave, it's another to go to our biggest rival and then gaslight everyone into thinking it's anything more than a cash grab. It all worked out, though. We quickly learned we can be just as successful without him. Andrew in Fitchburg.
Successful, an interesting word that we chose there. All right, let's take one call now, and then we'll take some more at the top of the 10 o'clock hour, which should have already started. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Let's talk to Dan in Brothertown. Coach, how are you, buddy?
Hey, we're doing great, man. Everything's great.
I'm happy that Kayla will be sticking around at UW Green Bay because we are big fans of her and her team, and we're excited to see Gracie Gresh on her roster now. But we're excited to talk to you. Tell me that Jesse is unhealthy. If that sounded biased, it should be.
I hate that, I hate to hurt your feelings there, but, as a true blue Brewer fan.
Oh, boy.
From when they even first came here, and this guy comes in and Council gets a job, and I'm happy for him. He's talking about growing up in Milwaukee, Whitefish Bay, Bat Boy, all this stuff. And then he goes and leaves for the Cubs. Jesse is absolutely 100% correct the way he feels.
Wow. Of all the people that I would have expected that from, you were way down on the list. Wow.
That's just the way it is, man. Jason, you're a middle-of-the-road guy, so it doesn't matter. You're a middle-of-the-road guy probably on everything, except for maybe with your daughter stuff. But when you grow up as a Brewer fan like I did, and you've been through the years when they had people like Ron Theobald playing second base, and now no knock to Ron Theobald, but still.
Little bit.
What did Ron Theobald ever do to you?
A little bit of a...
Don Money would like to know what he did.
They called him the general. But, I'm just saying the teams that we've had, and then we get to a point where we're competitive, and we're getting to a point where we can feel that, God, we can get to a World Series. And then all of a sudden now it's like he never got us to the promised land, and then he goes to our enemy. He goes to the one team that absolutely, that's like Favre going to the Vikings. It's the same thing. So you're off my list as favorite people that have been Brewers or Packers. As far as I'm concerned, they're like gone. They're gone. No mention of them. Don't care what happens to them. They're not part of our family anymore.
Wow. All right. Well, I didn't see this coming, especially someone in the coaching realm. But all right. Maybe there's more people that feel like Jesse. I'm seeing it in the YouTube comments as well. For those of you that would like us to get back to the Packers, by the way, it is opening day. And if you are looking for Packers conversation, that'll come up in the 10 o'clock hour. We're also going to talk to our favorite Brewers guy, our Brewers buddy, along with our Bucks buddy who's here, and Justin Garcia. We will talk at 10:30 with Jeff Levering. But, okay, I'm going to pull this anyway. And if we want to move on, we can. Or if Jesse is getting more supportive calls. You'll let people in that disagree with you too, though, right, Jesse?
Maybe.
844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless Talk and Text line. The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch starts in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. Well, this time of year, it feels like every day is a big game day, and you need a winning pizza lineup to celebrate. Pepperoni, sausage and mushrooms, or ham, pineapple, and bacon? Well, the choice is yours. And right now, you get a large 3-topping original stuffed crust pizza for just $11.99 at Pizza Hut. Available for delivery or carryout, you can create your perfect pizza no matter the game plan for just $11.99. Order now on the Pizza Hut app or online at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
This is former Wisconsin linebacker Chris Orr. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a good Karma Brands radio station on Wisconsin.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison. Happy opening day. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out, 220 State Street, and online at goodmansjewelers.com. The 2025 MLB season for the Milwaukee Brewers opens today in the Bronx. The Milwaukee Brewers and the New York Yankees. First pitch set for 2:05. Pre-game coverage starts at 1:30 this afternoon right here on Madison's new home of Milwaukee Brewers baseball, 100.5 ESPN. It's Freddie Peralta on the mound for Milwaukee today, opposing Carlos Rodon of the Yankees. Plenty to get you set all day long, getting you up to first pitch here on 100.5 ESPN. Wilde and Tausch with Justin Garcia in for Tausch until noon. Jeff Levering, by the way, the Brewers radio network, scheduled to appear about 30 minutes from right now. Special early edition of Jim, Matt, and Molly from noon to 1:30, taking you up to Brewers pregame right here on 100.5 ESPN. Watching the game this afternoon, it is available nationwide on ESPN and the ESPN app. Joe Buck on the call, Bill Schroeder, one of the featured color commentators on the national broadcast today.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch with Justin Garcia as our cousin sub of the day is underway. And we'll take a couple more calls on this, and maybe they're all going to be pro Jesse. I'm posting the poll now on Twitter. This just seems unhealthy to me. I just want to be on record saying that. Justin, do you feel the same?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm curious to hear what the rest of the calls that Jesse has put through will have to say, and the reason why, because what we've heard so far, there's one thing that stands out. So I want to hear the rest of what people have to say before we get into that.
All right, let's do it. 844-770-3776. Let's start with David in Janesville. David, don't let the fact that I find this to be unhealthy influence how you feel. Do you feel as strongly as Jesse does?
Not quite as strong. I mean, when I think about it, I'm actually thankful is the word I come up with.
Because?
So Corbin Burns' last game, that playoff start, I was there with my wife, who is a Cub fan, so I can't hate them as much as I used to. Because, you know, I want to stay married. I love my wife. But we were there together, hoping it was going to be a Cubs-Brewers game, but the Cubs fell off and didn't make it that year. And so I was there. She was, you know, supporting me. We went and had a good time. And Corbin Burns started that game, and they lost. And I left in the 7th or 8th inning to beat the rush out because I was like, this is over. I was so upset, so mad. Another year, feel like it's going to be gone. And I turned on the radio, listened to TMJ on the way home, and I got to listen to everybody's post-game conference. And I was like, this team's never going to win a World Series. And I think it starts at the top because Craig Counsell, every post-game interview is always like, oh, we didn't get it. You know, we missed it here, missed it there. We'll get them next time. That sort of attitude, never that upset killer attitude that you hope for sometimes. And that trickled down to me in Corbin Burns' interview, saying, oh, we'll get them next time. I missed a pitch here, missed a pitch there. And the same with Yelich. Like, I felt like those guys were just had that attitude of like, oh, next time, when I was like, that could be Burns' last start. And of course it was, you know? And then now last year, I feel like everybody had this new fire and vigor in them with Pat Murphy that we're better off. Because I don't think, and I said this after that playoff game, Craig Counsell's never going to win us a World Series because I hope that he would stay because we were always competitive with him, but I was happy if he left. I was happy if he left because I didn't feel like we were going to get that ultimate goal with him either. And the fact that he went to the Cubs does tick you off a little bit more, but I'm okay with it. So,
all right.
That's my take.
That sounds healthier than where Jesse is, but your feelings are similar. Again, I don't need to say this every single time I do a radio show, but as someone who doesn't process this stuff the same way as someone who's not a fan, This is hard for me to imagine. Like, it just feeling that strongly, like it's a lot for me to understand, especially given all the good things that are on the other side of the ledger. Packer Dan, Jesse is right. Craig Counsell is a traitor and should be treated as such.
Traitor!
Let's keep going with the calls so we can get to Jeff Levering somewhat on time, even though he knows when we call him that we will not get to him at 10:30 because we never do. Let's talk to Mike and Kendall. Mike, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. Are you Team Jesse?
No. So I'm a lover, not a hater. So
me too.
Go back, so Wisconsin guy makes it to the bigs. Everybody loves him. Wisconsin guy comes home, manages your team. Everybody loves him. Wisconsin guy leaves that team and goes to your rival. To me, you kind of laugh about it and you go, okay, so he made a life change. Maybe it's good for us. Maybe it's bad for us. As it all turns out, it was good. Pat Murphy's awesome.
He is.
But I have no ill will toward Craig Counsell because while he was here, we loved him. I can't flip the switch. I raised my boys in a way that no professional athlete sucks. They got there for a reason. And what decisions he made are personal. That's his decision to go someplace else. And what it does for Brewer fans gives us that little bit more fire to go and kick the snot out of the Cubs. And, there's just that added little edge. But as far as Craig Counsell as a person and the backstories and all that, great guy. Love him. Thanks for your service.
Nice. Well done. Mike, we appreciate the call and the reasonable perspective. Let's get to one more call. Let's go to Jim on the south side. I don't know I'll be honest, I'm not sure what to expect from these calls anymore. Like Dan in Brothertown with a son who's been in coaching, with a daughter-in-law who's a head coach at the Division I level, I thought for sure it was going to be, hey, you have to do what's right for you and your family and your career, and sometimes that's going to be unpopular. So now I don't know what to expect from any of these calls. So, Jim, the floor is yours. Are you on Team Jesse?
I'm on the team, but I'm not in the starting lineup. I agree with Jesse that I am not a Craig Counsell fan anymore. Him going to our biggest rival is the real reason. It's kind of like Favre going to Minnesota. He just became dead to me. I just didn't care what happened to him or what he did or anything else anymore. And I think the thing is because it's our rival that he went there. So I'm not a fan. I don't hate him. I don't care.
You're ambivalent. Come on. You can't not care, right? Like, you got to feel a little bit one way or the other. Don't you?
I don't think so. I think I'm just, he's not a Brewer. Why should I care? Do I care about the other 30 managers in baseball? No. He's just out there. He's doing his thing. I don't hold it against him for doing it, but he's just not part of us anymore.
Okay. That's another response I didn't expect.
I would just like to interject. He's not a part of them anymore. But yes, that's largely how and look, the big thing for me, too, is I am not oblivious to the Wisconsin-Illinois rivalries here.
Bulls.
Well, even that one is like...
Nah.
I strongly despise 4 of the 5 men's professional sports teams in the state of Illinois. The Cubs are one of them. But the whole, this is our biggest rival. I don't know who the Brewers' biggest rival is. I get the proximity there. This was not a rivalry, quote unquote, until 2000, 99, 98, whenever it was the Brewers went to the National League. It's forced because of the proximity. I would argue the Cardinals are a bigger rival to the Brewers than the Cubs are.
They both are.
Jesse just likes to hate lots of people all at once.
If you say who are the Brewers' biggest rivals, it's the Cardinals because of the history in 1982 in the World Series, obviously the division, the playoffs in 2011.
And why is it the Cubs? What's the story behind the Brewers?
A large part of it is proximity and fan bases, both
there you go.
Going to each other's stadiums.
Taking over the stadium.
There is some competitiveness. In 2008, both teams were at the top of the division. 21, both teams were at the top of the division and at the top of the National League. They've been generally competitive around the same periods of time in the last 25
have the Brewers
years.
And Cardinals, and I would argue the Cardinals even more so.
Yes. So I think I'm not saying one is maybe I am. I guess I think the Cubs are more of a rival because of my history going to the stadium.
Look, there is
all that.
There's clearly something there, but this is not a rivalry to the Cubs. And even the Cardinals side, it's not really a rivalry to the Cardinals. They have each other. I think the real story is who is the Brewers' rival? I know you got the Cubs by proximity, but it's very few things are, but it's nowhere near Packers-Bears and some of the other rivalries in this state.
Do the Bucks have a rival?
It feels like it's an annual tradition to have who would you say is the Bucks' rival right now?
Is that what you talk about on Bucks Talk?
We save that for Bucks House when we try to help you finance your dream Bucks home.
Click on the big blue button.
I think right now you would say the Indiana Pacers, but it's like a revolving door of 3 to 4 teams that are in there. The Bulls, the unfortunate part there is those two teams haven't been good at the same time. I know They had that series a couple of years ago, and 2 playoff series in Giannis's tenure, but for the most part, the Bulls have been bad and the Bucks been good, and vice versa. But
like
the
Packers,
Celtics,
Bears.
Yeah, the Celtics you've faced in the playoffs a couple of times now, 3 times in the last 7 or 8 years. There's something there with Boston, but the Bucks aren't the Celtics' biggest rival. The Heat, same conversation there. So they don't really have a true dyed-in-the-wool, this is your rival right now. And in the moment, it's the Indiana Pacers.
And they could be playing each other in the playoff series, correct? 4-5, that could be the matchup?
Math indicates they likely will be playing each other in the playoff series.
All right. Here's a text from Steve. I walked around AmFam Field last year when the Cubs were eliminated, and I will do the same this year. I despise Counsell. Despise. So, again, another strong position for where you stand on Craig Counsell. All right, we'll check out a few more of these. We need to play trivia before we talk to Jeff Levering. Jesse, what's today's category and what caller would you like?
The Brewers on opening day. Seems fitting. The Brewers on opening day is today's trivia category. There's 162 games in a baseball season.
Oh, do it!
1 plus 6 plus 2 is 9. Caller 9.
All right, caller 9, 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Caller 9 right now for Wilde and Tausch trivia. Before we can get to that, Tausch has got to tell us about his love of Coors Light. So stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Mark Tauscher here for the Blue Mountains of cold, refreshing Coors Light. Whether you're tailgating pregame, enjoying your experience during the game, or celebrating a big win after the game, or you just need a moment to chill, crack open a Rocky Mountain cold Coors Light. Coors Light is brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it's cold packaged, so it's actually made to chill. The mountains on Coors Light's cold-activated bottles and cans, they turn blue. That's when you know it is chilled to perfection, which, besides the refreshing taste, is my favorite thing about drinking Coors Light. Refreshingly cold and only 102 calories, Coors Light is made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets to the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois, age 21 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
March is bonus time at Audi Madison. Save $3,000 on select 2025 Audi A3, A4, A5, or Q7 models. Save $4,000 on select 2025 A6, Q5, or Q8 models. Customer bonus applied towards the purchase or lease of a new Audi, but is only available until March 31st. Stop in and test drive today. Check out AudiMadison.com to see current inventory and specials. Start your adventure at Audi Madison today, off the Beltline and Rimrock Road.
I'm John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. We've been at the heart of many magical moments, from engagements to weddings to sweet 16s. It warms my heart to be a part of these moments for 40 years with people I consider family. With the highest standards and an eye for classic beauty, enjoy a warm boutique setting at Goodman's Jewelers, where integrity shines in every gem. At 220 State Street, Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store, Madison, since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Hey, ready to sweeten your game? It's time for Quick Trip's Nature's Touch Ice Cream. Ooh, making moves like the starting lineup of a championship team. Whether you're gearing up for the big game, celebrating a win, or just looking for a sweet break in the action. Chocolate, vanilla, cookies and cream, mint chocolate chip, and more. Yeah, there's no such thing as a bad pick. So why wait? Flavor doesn't scoop itself. Get your hands on your winning Nature's Touch Ice Cream flavor today. Only at Quick Trip.
UW Credit Union presents the Prep Mania Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Dennis Semra with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
Our ESPN Madison UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Val Richardson, Madison East High School. Welcome, Val.
Hey, thank you.
I got to ask you, you scored 47 points in a game back in November.
Yeah, that was the second game of the season.
And it was against Madison Follett.
Yeah.
So you got Eastside Pride. Was that a biggie?
Yeah, our rival team, I have to. You got to lock in for that game.
When you look back in your time at Madison East, being a Pergolder, what's that going to mean to you?
Definitely being a Pergolder just means like putting in that work and definitely representing the colors, the purple and gold. That's really stood out to me, and just being like a good person, a good teammate, having a good personality.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
We're on the Packers.
If they're not better this year,
because we're on Wisconsin sports,
there's going to be a lot of seats warming up.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
This does not sound
baseball
like a baseball song.
It was submitted on the Carbliss ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. List is more.
Let's get to trivia. Let's welcome in Elijah in Poynette. Elijah, good morning. How are you today?
Good. Good morning to you guys.
Do you hate Craig Counsell?
I do not, but it's hard to back anybody that went to the Chicago Cubs. It'd be like Brett Favre going to the Chicago Bears or something like that.
Or maybe the Vikings.
Vikings.
All right.
Or the Vikings, yeah.
Question number one. in what we like to call play ball. Brewers on opening day. Question number 1 is this. With 6 starts on opening day in his career, which Milwaukee Brewers pitcher has started the most opening day games in franchise history? Is it Giovanni Gallardo, Ben Sheets, or Jamie Easterly?
Let's go with Ben Sheets.
Good answer. I was given the option, the way Jesse wrote the question, insert your favorite obscure Brewers pitcher here. Thought about Larry Sorensen, Tom Tellman, who had a great mustache. Lots of options there. Rich Cleveland,
Valerio
Bob
De Los
McClure.
Santos.
De Los Santos, yeah.
It's a good one.
Ruben Quevedo.
Victor Santos. Wes Obermueller.
Carlos
Justin
Villanueva.
Garcia.
George
Jesse,
of the Rose.
You got question 2.
I got question 2. The Brewers lost 10-0 on opening day in 2015 to the Colorado Rockies. Which of these other notable Wisconsin sports games also took place that same day? Was it the Bucks and the Bulls playing Game 6 of their first-round series in the playoffs? Wisconsin hockey in the Frozen Four against Boston College? Or the Wisconsin men's basketball team in the national championship game against Duke?
Let's go with A.
What kind of a question is this?
Had a chance to be one of the best days in Wisconsin sports history. And instead, the Brewers lost 10-0 to the Rockies, and the Badgers lost to Duke in the national championship game.
I was going to pick C, too. I thought that was like a Final Four, though. I don't know.
Sorry, Elijah. Question 3. Jesse's enjoying this. I would hate Jesse for that question. Which Brewers player remains the only player in franchise history to hit a walk-off grand slam on opening day? Was that player Yuniesky Betancourt, Sixto Lezcano, or Jeremy Burnitz?
As you can tell, I don't know.
I can tell, yeah.
Jeremy Burnett.
Elijah, I'm sorry. This is you sound like a younger fella. Us old guys remember the great Sixto Lezcano, number 16 in your program, and worth 54 points in Scrabble. You are incorrect. You got one right. That means you got 2 entries into tomorrow's drawing. Enjoy opening day. Thanks for your loyalty to the show. And if you want to be mad at Jesse, you have my permission.
Yeah, same.
No, I'm not mad. I debated even calling in after it started ringing. I was like, there's someone probably more qualified for this than me. I felt like I robbed somebody of a good trivia.
God, what a nice
It's the Jesse
person
Nelson
you
story, honestly. Yeah, like there's got to be somebody more qualified than me, but here we are.
Jesse would never think that, though. Elijah did. Elijah, we appreciate that. That's a really nice sentiment. Jesse, you should try it sometime. All right, that is Wilde and Tausch Trivia. We need to get to our Brewers buddy, who will join us next. It is the great Jeff Levering, scheduled to appear. Speaking of great, of course, David Gruber and Gruber Law Offices. Hope you never have to make the call. That means you've never been seriously injured in an accident, but if you have been, you have to make the call because you want to win. You want to be taken care of. You want to be on the right side of everything that comes with those challenges, and Gruber Law Offices is there to help you through it. 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666, or go to the website gruber-law.com to find out more. Jeff Levering joins us next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can, It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
Relive every high-flying dunk.
Oh! And a one-hand slam!
And fantastic finish.
We are going to overtime, folks!
From the boys' state basketball tournament.
Back-to-back state championships for the Wisconsin Lutheran Vikings.
Download all 5 state championship games on Wisconsin On Demand or wherever you get your podcasts.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. Well, if you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Service. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Gruber Law Office's Thanalysis Live is back. March 29th at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Join Thanasis Adetokunbo for a live show that's sure to entertain like none other. Last year, it was a surprise appearance from ESPN's Stephen A. Smith. You never know what Thanasis has planned for 2025. Get your tickets to Thanalysis Live right now. Visit ESPN Madison on Twitter for event and ticket info. It's Gruber Law Office's Thanalysis Live, presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and Carbliss. Also supported by the Prisoner Wine Company and McDonald's.
One call, that's all. It's not just a slogan, but a way of life at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been injured, call our team today. We've represented tens of thousands of injured Wisconsinites for well over 30 years. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They did it again. For the 5th time, Siding Unlimited, the 30-year-old Wisconsin family-owned company, is the Pella Window and Door Company's Platinum Premier Certified Contractor of the Year in the whole USA. Siding Unlimited is here in Madison with a dynamic outside-in showroom. See Siding Unlimited's window, door, roofing, deck, and other great outside stuff inside at 2018 South Stoughton Road, south of Buckeye. See Siding Unlimited's frequent Instagram posts or go to sidingunlimited.com.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Waiting to see a general surgeon? With Stoughton Health, it's always easy access, with most appointments within a week. And with over 160 insurances accepted, you're covered and in good hands. For more information, visit StoughtonHealth.com. Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
We're on the Badgers.
It was successful, but also disappointing. That's just what this season was. I don't think any of us went into the season going, they're going to be a 3 seed. They're going to be really good this year. They're going to be competing for a Big Ten championship again.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
With Brewing is for everyone. You'll be a believer in Brewer fever when you feel the excitement of the big home run. Stomping your feet, clapping your hands. You're part of the team sitting in the stands.
God, I almost love this song as much as I love the old school Green and Growing we play for our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs we believe in better, Justin Garcia. But this guy's our Brewers buddy. Frankly, sometimes I wonder why he takes our calls. Because, man, we wear him out. And we appreciate him so much, even when Jesse's trying to get him to critique his own play-by-play work. It is our friend Jeff Levering. on Wilde and Tausch. Jeff, good morning. Thanks for doing this, buddy. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Happy opening day, everybody. Should be a national holiday. If you're at work today, I'm sorry. I'll write you a note and sign it for you.
But speaking of work, what exactly are you doing today?
I am on the radio broadcast today. There is the national TV game is on ESPN with Joe Buck having the honor of working with Bill Schroeder today and Joe Girardi. And I will be on the radio with Lane and Kent Sommerfeld, who's going into year number 40 as the Brewers engineer.
One of the all-time good guys. We love Kent, and we're happy for him and that benchmark for him. All right,
Yeah.
So I am curious, though. I did see you got to enjoy a day of baseball where you weren't calling it at all. You were with your family. Looked like you were maybe sitting on the grass in the outfield at Maryvale, perhaps. But the fact of the matter is you're one of the hardest working men in show business. When you get to this first day and the euphoria of opening day, national holiday level event, and then you think, all right, I only got 161 more to go. How do you view the starting line of a season, and then how do you view, like, after you've taken those first 9 innings or so steps, what lies ahead?
It's a great question, and I really enjoyed spending a day with my family in the outfield grass and wearing the sunscreen and being amongst the people. That happens very rarely. So that was a really cool thing to happen on Sunday of last week. For the last spring training game at American Family Field with Phoenix. Lucky to have my family here in New York. They'll be at the game today, too, and taking in the sights of New York City. I think they're eating room service right now, so I can't wait to see that bill once it's all squared away. $50 Belgian waffles.
Good thing you got that Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin money coming in.
Yeah, right. No, it is game 1 of 162, and there's something special about opening day, starting a new baseball season, games that matter. Spring training games are fun and all, but they don't matter, right? Now you're at Yankee Stadium. They're getting the field ready. There's bunting on the 3rd and 4th deck. That's a special thing to see, even though it's just a semicircle with the red, white, and blue and stars. Seeing that means something is important, and this is important. This is important today, and being here, being on the radio, especially in this year, the first one without Euchre, is it's going to be a lot today. It's going to be more on Monday at the home opener, but the opening day ceremonies, and it's fun, and it's an honor to be a part of it.
Well, speaking of honors, I would say this. You've done a fantastic job of honoring him in all the conversations that you've had, and I know you've had a lot, including with us. But what are your emotions as you get ready for this season and doing it without him and knowing he's not at home listening to you? Hopefully he's listening on the transistor radio up in the sky. But what are your emotions as you get ready for this season?
Yeah, me and Lane just got a group text from his son, from Bob Euchre Jr., and that was one of their traditions, was to text each other, or at least Bob to Bob Sr., and saying, hey, have a great call today and have a great season. And he sent that to both Lane and I. So the emotions start to hit a little bit more. We know he's not with us. We know he's entrenched in our lives, and his family is still a part of our family, even without Bob being with us. Like I said, when we opened up spring training, he would want us to just talk about the Brewers, and he would want us to talk about baseball. He wouldn't want it to be about him. We'll certainly talk about him. We'll share his stories, but we're going to talk about the Brewers. And, like I said, I think today we'll come on the air. I'm not going to make the tone should be very positive, because it's an exciting time for Brewers baseball. I don't think anybody wants to get down when you turn on a baseball game. Nobody wants to be immediately sad. Will we talk about it? Yeah, of course we will. But when I come on the air at what is it, 2:35 Central Time, I'm going to talk about a new exciting season of Milwaukee Brewers baseball. And that's the way that Bob would want us to do it, and that's what we're going to do. But it is heavy. It's certainly heavy. I do think that Monday is going to be the heaviest of them all.
Jeff, speaking of excitement with the Brewers, Jackson Chourio a year ago exceeded expectations, I think it's fair to say, and they're sky high for him coming into this season. But is it fair to say guys like Brandon Woodruff and Christian Yelich and how they perform, that may be the biggest tell for how successful the Brewers are this year?
It could be. I think the pitching group as a whole is really important, considering a lot of those guys are hurt at the moment. So getting those guys back that got dinged up during spring training. Brandon Woodruff will pitch at some point in the big leagues. When that is still to be determined. Apparently he's on a plane right now on his way to Yankee Stadium just to be a part of the opening day ceremonies and then head back to Arizona after the fact. But getting Brandon Woodruff back in some way, shape, or form is huge for this team. Freddie Peralta making 30 starts is a huge part of this team's success too. How the bullpen performs and the arms that are used is also critical. For Christian Yelich, being healthy and just being around is great. And anybody that's dealt with back problems before, you know that when you wake up in the morning and you know if you're going to have a good day or a bad day just by how you get out of bed. And I think Christian's been able to get out of bed and not have any problems for the first time in years after he had that back surgery. So having him healthy and the numbers that he put up last year, even with a bad back, pretty amazing. So having him back on the field, he's DHing today, he's batting second. It's going to be great to see him in the lineup again.
Jeff, speaking of expectations, what exactly is realistic for us to expect? You know, you get to be around Pat Murphy every day. He was on with Tausch and I after he won the Manager of the Year award, and we started carrying Brewers games on 100.5 ESPN Madison this season. But you know, you lose a guy like Willie Adames. You don't know when you're going to get Woodruff back, although there are obviously encouraging signs after not having him all of last year. Like, obviously, hope springs eternal for everyone at this time of year, and I certainly want them to be a playoff team, and I'm sure you do too. But where should we put our expectations for the 2025 Milwaukee Brewers?
I think fans in the last decade have learned that whatever people think on the outside of the Brewers, they do not care on the inside. And I think they thrive on being the underdog. I think they thrive on doing more than what is expected of them. They don't care in that clubhouse. They don't care in that front office. Hey, give us a challenge. We'll exceed it. And they have done that 6 years of the last 7 where they've gone to the playoffs. So you could throw a bunch of expectations on this team, and I think that they like the fact that nobody is expecting them to do much, because that means they're going to have a really fun season. I think they are going to have a fun season. I think that they're going to be competitive until the very end. I think they're going to have an opportunity to potentially win a World Series, at least get the opportunity in the playoffs. You know, the other teams that are in the division, sure, the Reds could be better. They got a new manager. They got Matt McClain healthy. The Cubs made a couple of acquisitions that made them a little bit better. You know, the Pirates have a great pitching staff. The Cardinals are not a good team. So I think that the Brewers are going to be just fine at the end of the day in terms of the National League Central. And they're going to be competitive all the way through September. It's going to be a great spring and summer.
Mentioned some of those names, like obviously a Christian Yelich, but Jackson Chourio and what he did a season ago, and all the young players the Brewers have here that have continued to develop. Every year, there's always some guy that doesn't make the roster on opening day and puts up numbers in the minors, or an injury occurs and he has this opportunity that he showed you something in spring training, and you look back and think, man, I didn't see that coming during the regular season. Is there a guy that stands out to you from what you saw in February and earlier in March that this guy, keep an eye on him at some point in the season?
Well, I think Craig Yoho is going to be that guy. He's going to be a big part of that Brewers bullpen at some point, whenever that's going to be. I think he's going to be a huge piece of what happens on this Brewers team at some point during the regular season. Is he going to close games? Probably not. But he might be a 6th or a 7th inning guy, and he'll take this sport by storm with what he's been able to put together. And we saw it in spring training. I think that position player-wise, you're still a ways away from seeing some people that really affect games. Caleb Durbin, I think he's an exciting player. Is he going to be the leadoff hitter and have a Jackson Churio type of breakout season? I don't think so. But, I mean, I'm excited for a Craig Yoho or a Jacob Mizorowski to really put their names in the forefront in Milwaukee with what they can do on the mound. Those are a couple of guys I'm looking forward to. But they always find these diamonds in the rough, right? I mean, who thought Jared Koenig was going to be anything? And then he was a key cog in the bullpen last year.
Jesse, continue. Since you're a play-by-play guy yourself, do you have any more insights since we lost Jeff?
I will work to reestablish our connection with Jeff Levering.
Okay. The question that I want to ask him, if and when we reconnect with him, Justin, is apparently the dogs are unhappy with this outcome as well. Is who are the guys? And I always kind of think in terms of the Packers parallels. We just got done talking early in the show, and we'll talk more about this. In fact, Jeff Levering's back, so I can ask him this. Jeff, I'm sure you just kept talking into your phone. You didn't realize we'd lost you. I'm sure it's Jesse's fault. So let me ask you a fresh question. I think in Packers terms all the time, and I'm looking at Jaden Reed, I'm looking at Dontavion Wicks, and frankly, I'm looking at Jordan Love and saying, look, year 3 of Jordan Love being the starting quarterback, those guys at wide receiver coming off of less than great jumps in year 2, those are the guys that I need to see something big from this season, a big jump. Who are those guys on this Brewers roster that if the Brewers are going to get to where they want to go, these are good players that need to be even better players that you really need to see that jump from?
Well, hopefully you can hear me now. I blame Yankee Stadium.
No, blame Jesse. That's the default setting here.
The pins weren't all set up, Jesse. Sorry about that. I think that, defensively, Sal Frelick showed what he can do in the outfield. But I think offensively it's going to be a big year for him, what he's able to provide. I would also say a healthy season from Garrett Mitchell is critical for this team. He got through spring training. He is so important to have on the field, and what he can do defensively, offensively, he changes games. And if he can stay on the field and put together a full season, I think he could be a real difference maker in this lineup for the Brewers.
All right, 2 last things, because I know you have much more important things to do today than talk to us. One, what are your expectations for Joey Ortiz at shortstop? That obviously, that's a big deal there.
Yeah, defensively, I think that he is among the top 5 or 6 defensive shortstops in the league. What does he do offensively that's going to help him out? We'll see. He's not going to get 20 homers. He's not going to be Willie Adames production offensively, but defensively, he is a better shortstop than Willie Adames was. So that's number 1. But I think he makes a big jump from year 1 to year 2 too, as well.
And then how much I love when I stumble upon a Big Ten football game when it's you and Jake Butt, or when I stumble upon a basketball game and I hear your dulcet tones. The question I have is there like a website dedicated to knowing when you're on TV, when you're on the radio, etc.? Is that something that I'm going to have to just randomly find out each day?
Well, I will tell you this. After the first Brewers homestand, I have, this weekend I'm on TV Saturday and Sunday. Brian Anderson comes back for the Royals series. I'll have 2 games of the Reds series, and then BA doesn't come back until the end of June. So I'll be on TV for the first basically 2 months of the season, 2.5 months, and then it'll be rotating. So at least you'll have me on TV for the next couple of months.
All right, well, stay by your phone because Tausch also has a bunch of days off coming, so I'm guessing that we'll probably call and ask you if you want to be a cousin sub of the day as well. Jeff, have a great season. We love you, man. We appreciate it so much. Have a great year. We appreciate you. Take care.
You got it. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
That is the great Jeff Levering. Jesse,
that was pretty close to you getting into asking what time Murder, She Wrote is on.
Yeah, that's
from the president of CBS.
Yeah, close.
getting there.
But more importantly, And, of course, I always have a reason for why I do things, unlike you. He is a great friend to our show, and I really enjoy his work. I think he's top flight on everything he does, just like Brian Anderson. And I worry that someday he's going to be – and we love Brian Anderson, and we're so happy that he gets to do a lot of cool stuff, including the NCAA tournament and everything else. But we don't get Brian Anderson nearly as often anymore, right? And I think that's going to happen with Jeff Levering soon enough. And then you're going to turn down opportunities to do Brewers games on 620 WTMJ and 100.5 ESPN Madison because you're loyal to our show. And you would not leave for a more lucrative, better opportunity than producing Wilde and Tausch. Is that correct?
That was the punchline we were building toward here, wasn't it? Yeah.
Maybe.
Not the same.
You can say that if you want.
Not
but
the same.
But nevertheless, want to remind you, regardless of how Jesse feels, and more of you agree with him than don't on the poll question. We'll get to that a little bit later. But we can all agree that it's the best time to shop a Beauty Rest Black mattress at Steinhafels. Beauty Rest Black mattresses use sleep climate technology that transfers heat away from the body and triple-stranded pocketed coil technology to give you the most advanced support system in a mattress. And I know how grumpy sometimes Justin Garcia wakes up, so he should consider this as an opportunity right now with Steinhafels. Right now, the new Beauty Rest Black is only $42 a month, Justin, when you use Steinhafels 60-month financing, plus you'll get up to $300 in Steinhafels cash. So shop in-store or online at steinhafels.com. More Wilde and Tausch with Justin Garcia, our cousin sub of the day. Stick around.
Swing and a miss, and the Dodgers are World Series champions.
It's opening day. The Detroit Tigers at the Los Angeles Dodgers. First pitch at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
Gold medalist and ESPN Madison foodie Matt Hamilton here to tell you about Metcalf's Market. As a proud Wisconsinite, you know I support local, and it doesn't get more local than fourth-generation, family-operated Metcalf's Market. Renowned for offering an extensive selection of local and premium quality foods, it's the best place to shop for me and my family. Where family tradition meets commitment to quality, sustainability, and supporting local communities, head to one of their locations today in Hilldale, near Westtown Mall, or Wauwatosa. Metcalf's Market. Bring local home.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhafels. Shop Beauty Rest Black mattresses at Steinhafels. The new Beauty Rest Black is only $42 per month when you use Steinhafels 60-month financing, only at Steinhafels. 8 years since Wisconsin men's basketball reached the NCAA tournament's second weekend, while in football, 8 years since the program has won a New Year's Six bowl game. Program's hungry to fight for a title, but is it realistically in the cards? Brad Nortman with his perspective during Wilde and Tausch.
There are moments where it feels like you're close, but taken holistically, those look like blips. I think in order to win a championship, you have to consistently be that team. So you have to be able to have so many opportunities to win a national championship that then the stars align when you do it.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
Hello, I'm John Hayes, the owner of Goodman's Jewelers. It's been my pleasure to serve this community from this incredible store for over 4 decades. We stand upon high standards and classic traditions, pillars like honesty and integrity. Stop into Goodman's Jewelers, the longest-standing full-service jewelry store in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
Welcome. The 2025 NFL Draft on ESPN Radio.
The NFL Draft is now underway.
Live from historic Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
With the first pick.
Thursday, April 24th on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
Thanks, as always, to Jeff Levering. We always appreciate him making time for us, even though he probably didn't have a whole lot of spare time today on opening day. I did not bring up the Craig Counsell hatred. I thought his time was more valuable than that. The poll is interesting because while there are more people that are Team Jesse than maybe I thought there would be, it is closer than I thought it would be as well. I thought, I didn't know what to expect. And now here we sit. The question is, it's opening day, and Jesse Nelson still hates Craig Counsell. Our Wilde and Tausch poll question, do you feel that strongly negatively against the Brewers turned Cubs manager? Jesse, what do you think the voting is at right now? It is in your favor, I will tell you that.
I would guess 60-40, yes.
Justin?
I already saw the results, so I'm not.
Thank you for your honesty. Gosh, that's nice.
You could have impressed us.
They're not final results, but they are. The returns are largely in, and I'm guessing even when the potato corridor is counted, it's going to stay roughly the same. 55-45. I agree with Jesse. I'm Team Jesse. So, Jesse, do you feel good about that? Do you think that validates your position?
I think there's more who haven't voted that way or don't want to admit that they're not voting that way. But I think there's this crowd. Who was it? Jim on the South Side earlier who called it and said, I just don't really care about Craig Counsell anymore. And these are the same people saying, I don't really care about Aaron Rodgers anymore. You care. You just say you don't care, and you you're playing it cool, and you want to take like this high road with I don't care. But really, what it means is, yeah, you're smirking a little bit when things aren't going their way in their respective places.
Well, that's the perfect segue to the 11 o'clock hour, which will begin with some discussion of what the Vikings general manager said when he tried to say that they have no interest in Aaron Rodgers until they have interest in Aaron Rodgers. We'll get to that to kick off the 11 o'clock hour, but it is opening day, and the home opener is right around the corner, so get those tailgate grills out and grab your groceries. Get ready for opening day here in Milwaukee. Next Monday, the unofficial start to summer happens with the Brewers home opener, and ESPN Wisconsin will be all over it. Sponsored by Carbless, ready-to-drink cocktails. We'll have live shows from inside the ballpark, special guests all day, and an unmatched excitement for the crew as ESPN Wisconsin will carry every pitch of the home opener. Opening day on ESPN Wisconsin is sponsored by Carbless. Less is more. Grab a pack today and be the MVP of your tailgate. The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch starts in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Hey, it's Kelly Sheffield, Wisconsin Badgers volleyball head coach. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. Happy opening day. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Celebrations Entertainment. Complete event services for weddings, corporate events, nonprofit events, outdoor movies, casino nights, and much more. Go to celebrationsentertainment.com to get started today. Opening day in the Bronx. The Milwaukee Brewers and the New York Yankees. 2:05. First pitch this afternoon. Nationally televised on ESPN and the ESPN app. Joe Buck, Bill Schroeder, part of the broadcast from the Brewers TV network. That's pretty cool. Meanwhile, it's also pretty cool, maybe even better, Madison's new home of Milwaukee Brewers baseball, 100.5 ESPN. Pre-game coverage starts at 1:30 this afternoon. First pitch at 2:05. Taking you up to the game, of course, Wilde and Tausch till noon. Special early edition of Jim, Matt, and Molly from noon until 1:30. During the game, join the ESPN Madison opening day watch-along on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and streaming live on TikTok. Watch the game with us. React, have some fun. Gonna be a blast here in the Everlight Solar Studio at ESPN Madison. All counting down to Brewers Yankees, 2:05 this afternoon.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch, with Justin Garcia as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. Begins now. Justin, when I say the name Aaron Rodgers, what happens? What is your guttural reaction?
Just meh, like, all right, it's pretty far removed now, far enough removed from the initial divorce between Aaron Rodgers and the Packers that there is still a part of you that I don't openly root against him. I don't root for him. When you see some things happen, you're like, oh, that's a shame. But that's kind of where I am.
So this is something that, and I hope people that listen to our show, and we are thankful for those who do, I hope they appreciate and understand, not appreciate like thank you for your service, but like grasp the fact that I want us to do a show that interests people far more than it disinterests people, which sounds simple, but you can't please everyone. I'm aware of that. I've tried. At the same time, when the Vikings general manager is skirting questions in such a awkward, obvious way, I don't feel like I can ignore that. And I know that there are some, and I know that there are folks in the YouTube comments, including Dr. Denver Dan, who has rebranded himself after being Yamaz new man.
Oh my!
Which I don't know what that transition's all about for Dan, but we're happy to have him and his support of the show. But you know what I mean?
Congrats on becoming a doctor.
I don't want people to say, "Oh God, they're talking about Rodgers," and turn the show off. and go find something else on YouTube or on their radio dial or whatever they're streaming it on from an audio perspective. I don't want that to happen. But I don't know how you could, Kevin Seifert was the first one who wrote about it from my perspective in my kind of feed that I saw it right away. And then I texted with Kevin a little bit because I did. I wrote about it on channel3000.com. It was the first time Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah has talked since free agency began. So the Vikings reporters asked a myriad of questions, and he confirmed that Kevin O'Connell and Aaron Rodgers had conversations about the idea of him coming to Minnesota, and that there was that interest, and he didn't deny that interest still exists. He basically said, we want J.J. McCarthy to be our quarterback. We hope that that's the case. But he didn't rule out the possibility that turns out to not be the case. So here, with Jesse working overtime on Vikings.com to get this for us, here is one of the exchanges related to the Aaron Rodgers question in Minneapolis.
Can you say definitively then the door is closed with Rodgers? It kind of sounds like ultimately it was his decision and we're still looking for a veteran quarterback. Can you say that door is...
I don't know that it was ultimately, I don't know that I said it was ultimately his decision. I don't want to make sure that, I think that I said that given where we are scenario-wise, we didn't think it was the right move at this time. It is also his decision to whether he signs with another team, not. That's ultimately up to another player. For me to sit here and say that, anything's 100% forever, that's just not the job, right?
A lot of right nows, a lot of at this time, not 100. I mean, he'd never be able to do the Homer Hour because part of the job of being Homer is 100% or 0%. Justin, I get the fatigue. I totally understand it. But this, and here's why I think this matters, because if he goes, we saw what happened with Jordan Love as a first-year starter. Inconsistency and, quite frankly, poor play during the first half of the 23 season. He at least had more time in the league, time in the offense, more practice time than J.J. McCarthy will have had from having been on injured reserve. He didn't practice at all last year. And if somehow Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback, I understand people think he's washed, but with that talent around him and a motivation and a year further removed, I understand also a year older, but a year further removed from a ruptured Achilles, I think Packers fans would have reason to worry. Tell me why I'm wrong.
I think as much as we want to dismiss this and say there's the fatigue and I'm over the conversation, the moment Aaron Rodgers dons that purple helmet and is with the Vikings, I think that changes and we all start to backtrack on, well, wait a minute, now I am actively rooting against this guy. I agree with your overall sentiment that, look, there's questions with J.J. McCarthy and coming off of the injury and how first-year quarterbacks perform in general, and that's a very good roster that Minnesota has. So while Aaron Rodgers is not the guy that you had the past few years in Green Bay, he's not bad, right? He's just not the Aaron Rodgers that we saw winning MVPs. He's not an elite quarterback. He's not one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. So in that sense, yeah, it wouldn't be the best news, I don't think, for the Packers, especially with the schedule we just went over. I don't know. Maybe I'm naive. I just don't really see it happening in Minnesota because – look, I get you're running out of dance partners here if you're Aaron Rodgers, but he goes to the Vikings. We talked about he's clearly on the decline. And you got J.J. McCarthy. It feels like you go there to warm up the car, Aaron, and second half of the season or later in the season, the stories of J.J. McCarthy really impressing in practice and behind closed doors. He has a strong grasp of the offense. And eventually it's thanks for your service these first 9-10 games. J.J. McCarthy's got it from here. And that's not the way Aaron Rodgers wants to go out. I think he would much rather just not play than be the guy that's replaced by the younger quarterback midway through the season. And I don't see how that isn't the inevitable ending if he ends up in Minnesota.
The question I have about J.J. McCarthy, you invested the 10th overall pick in him. Obviously, you think he is capable of being a franchise quarterback. In addition, you have a coach who made Sam Darnold into a much better player than he had previously shown he was capable of. And as I said earlier, I am very curious to see what he does in Seattle. So what's to say that Kevin O'Connell can't do with J.J. McCarthy as a first-year starter what he did with Sam Darnold? But if there are setbacks, if there is inconsistency, again, the way the general manager left the door open, and that was just one clip. Like Jesse could have compiled, if he was more of an eager beaver, like 5 or 6 examples of answers that have the same general tenor. Are you sitting down now?
Yeah, I got tired. I worked
It's been
back
a long
here.
day. You've been working very hard. There were plenty of answers beyond that. And I find myself wondering, if this is if he's going to continually answer questions that way, there is more than just a little smoke there. That's what I'm thinking. And maybe they do have some reservations about McCarthy's knee, or maybe they have some reservations about how he's going to perform without a year of practice. And they're keeping that door cracked open further than just a in case of emergency break glass kind of situation. And again, there were ways, Justin, that he could have answered those questions. Look, J.J. McCarthy's going to be our quarterback unless there is an injury. If he re-injures his knee, then we're going to have to make some calls. And is Aaron Rodgers on the list of people that we would call? You're damn right. He's a 4-time MVP. He's going in the Hall of Fame. He still wants to play, it appears. If something happens with JJ's knee, we're going to make calls, and he's going to be on the list. But otherwise, no. The door's closed. JJ's our guy. We're going to find some veteran to back him up, and we would love for that to be someone with experience, but we're not going to create the circus that comes with Aaron Rodgers. That he could have said that. Maybe not quite as forcefully as I did. But my point is that the fact that he didn't, again, am I wrong to view it that way?
I mean, it was like he was instructed by legal counsel. Here's how we're going to answer the quarterback question. Like, you can just say, J.J. McCarthy is our quarterback, guys. We haven't had any conversations outside of that. We're going forward with J.J. McCarthy as our quarterback. You're not setting yourself up for anything if you give that type of answer. Plans changed, or this happened, and we readdress the situation. But I'm just speaking to the here and now. It's J.J. McCarthy. Like I said, I still don't think it happens, but the way he answered that is what leaves the door open for me the most.
There were other times where he said the outcome of J.J. McCarthy being the starting quarterback is the outcome we, and I quote here, want, and the outcome that we, quoting again, are headed towards. I mean, again, those are leave the door open phrases. And so I agree with you. Do I think that's the likely outcome, that Aaron Rodgers is starting on opening day for the Minnesota Vikings? I do not. I do think that it's one of the reasons why he is stringing the Pittsburgh Steelers along, because you telling me that he doesn't want to throw to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkinson versus George Pickens and D.K. Metcalf, who are talented, but they don't seem as precise as Aaron Rodgers would prefer them to be, right? So he doesn't strike me as eager to go to Pittsburgh. He went there for a 6-hour visit and left, and we haven't heard anything since. So he feels to me like someone keeping his options open, and I do think that if he is who I think he's still capable of being, and I was saying this morning, I've watched him. I watched some of the games. I went back on NFL Plus because I was curious. Look, he doesn't look like the guy that won 4 MVPs. He also doesn't look washed to me. And
he doesn't look like one of the 5 worst quarterbacks in the league.
Right. And if he has, if it ends up going this way, and I'm not saying it will, but I think that there's a reason for you to be a little nervous. Now, this is ironic that we spent our time talking early in the show about Craig Counsell and Jesse's hatred for him, that, there was someone on this panel, I don't want to name any names, but he became a Vikings fan when Brett Favre went there. Jesse, do you know who I'm referring to?
That would be me, Jason.
It would be.
That would be me.
So how is this different for you, having literally changed your colors from green and gold to purple?
Well, it's because the Vikings aren't the key rival. It's the Bears, and it's the state of Illinois. I would presume, right, Jesse?
No, there's more to it than that. I've explained this before, and whether it's founded with good reason or not, as a high schooler in 2008 when this all happened, I believed that the Packers moved on from Brett Favre when Favre wanted to come back, and having just been in the NFC Championship game, he gave them the best chance to win the following year, and they intentionally moved on from him for the unknown of what Aaron Rodgers would be. So
And that threw that interception into a crowd with a wide open receiver on the other half of the field is the guy that gave him the best chance to win. Okay.
And if the game wasn't 30 below zero, if it was two degrees above zero, maybe it's a different tune that day. You never know.
And you also know that he never wanted to come back to the Packers, right?
And it's also, there's no risk of it ever being below zero in the state of Wisconsin or Green Bay. It's a traditionally warmer climate. So, all right, I'm with you there.
I hope you guys are having fun. Yes.
He wanted to go to the Vikings all along.
I'm aware of all of these things.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Just they were meddling all off season.
But
Bevel and Chili and okay. Just want to make sure we have all those facts.
The way that I perceived the situation in 2008 as a fan was that Favre wanted to come back and play again for the Green Bay Packers and quarterback the team for another year, as he had done with the maybe or maybe not for the last several years at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought trading Brett Favre away gave the Packers a worse chance to win that year. Turned out, Ted Thompson knew what he was doing. Aaron Rodgers leads the team to win a Super Bowl, and it all worked out in the end. So all that said, at the time when he went to the Jets and then inevitably went back to the Vikings to get back at the Packers, I thought it was because the Packers weren't interested in winning, which is like the opposite of what a football team should be all about. Obviously, I learned my lesson over that span, and I think we all understand how that all played out. And in real time, I wasn't the only one who swapped out a Packers Favre jersey for a Vikings Favre jersey. I wasn't the only one who got a Jets Favre jersey. Let's not make this revisionist history like I was 1% of the state.
No one's revising that. None of us have a problem. You are perfectly
I'm the only one anyone ever brings up when this comes up.
No.
You're the only one on the show who did it.
Well, that's true.
Look, if that's what you want to do, fine. I can't fault you there. I root for teams outside of Wisconsin.
Arizona. They just got a big recruit, by the way. Koa Pete, the number 9 recruit.
Yeah, he'll transfer.
But it's just rather rich coming from the same guy that lectures us on the fandom of the Brewers and Craig Counsell going to a rival and everything else. But that's all I'm saying.
Exactly. Well said. Well said.
I believe the situations are different enough, and I think you both
because one's football and one's
know
baseball.
that. Sure. But sure, I see what we're doing here.
So if we can skip over the tired story that we hear every single time this comes up, but not everyone listens every day. So then how will you feel if somehow Rodgers ends up there? Is it now a collective shrug?
No.
Are you going to get a number 12 Vikings jersey?
Absolutely not. It's certainly not a shrug. Rodgers doesn't leave town a couple of years ago with the same type of support that Brett Favre had when he left town in 2008. It's very different.
Yeah, did a favor to Jordan Love.
Even while Aaron Rodgers was still here near the end of his tenure. Like Packers fans, I think we all kind of took the stuff off the field with knowing that we had a Hall of Fame MVP caliber quarterback leading the way. Once he's gone, you get to laugh at the Jets being in the predicament and him not answering his FaceTime and whatever else is going on in his life. So he's already more on the side of being the villain to Packers fans at this point, that it would just enhance the rivalry if he were to go to the Vikings. I can't imagine anyone besides Erica in Milwaukee would be in full support of Aaron Rodgers suiting up in purple and gold this year.
Well, and I think what makes it different, too, is, number one, you had already dealt with it. It wasn't as new and fresh as when it happened with Brett Favre that, okay, this again. But the thing about Brett Favre was just, his personality, his style of play, and the time that he came along for people like me, that had a little bit of experience of watching the Packers before Brett Favre and knowing, this is what it's like to have a quarterback. Like, that's what made it so raw with Brett Favre, that this was the guy that really got you invested in that team or sport if you're in a younger generation and you didn't know about the guys like Anthony Dilweg playing quarterback for the Packers or Mike Tomczak when you were leaning on that. So that's what made it even harder, and the fact that you went through it once and you started to say, okay, we've got another quarterback now. The chances of that going year after year after year, certainly something to be questioned, but I think that's the biggest thing that makes the two events different.
Again, for Todd and for Coach Almute in the YouTube comments, which we appreciate your loyalty to the show. If the general manager of the Minnesota Vikings doesn't twist himself into a pretzel trying to find ways to not close the door on Aaron Rodgers yesterday in about 6 different ways, I would not have spent time on this today. I wouldn't have written about channel3000.com. I get the pushback. I do. But this does affect the Packers. Homer loves to say that everything is important as it relates to the Green Bay Packers. Tell me the Vikings, and again, you're entitled to think that he's washed. I disagree. And if you watched him play last year, I think you would say, well, maybe I'm wrong about thinking he's totally washed. But this relates to the Packers in that, who do you feel more confident in the Packers beating in 2025? J.J. McCarthy, first-year starter who didn't practice after August 16th because he tore his meniscus in a preseason game, was placed on season-ending IR. It wasn't like he was getting work during the season, and they could see the progress that the Packers saw from Jordan Love in practices leading into the 2023 season, right? So they don't have that information on him. So you saw Jordan Love had great moments in the second half of the 2023 season. But who do you think is more of a concern if you're a Packers fan, if it's J.J. McCarthy as the starting quarterback for the Vikings or Aaron Rodgers as the starting quarterback for the Vikings? That's why it's germane. I don't want to talk Aaron Rodgers any more than you want to listen to Aaron Rodgers. But yesterday is an inflection point when a general manager talks the way he did. There is no denying that the Vikings are keeping that door open. Maybe they never have to walk through it, and maybe J.J. McCarthy is star-spangled awesome and 1,000% healthy all offseason and all training camp, and they feel great about him as their starter. And with Kevin O'Connell, who seems like a damn good football coach, they would have reason to feel good about him. But you don't leave the door open for no reason. That was more than just, I never say never. There was way more to it than that from their GM yesterday, and that's why we're talking about it today. Fair?
Yeah, it is to me. I mean, look, the last thing I'll say is I love storylines. It's part of the big appeal of the sweet science. You're a fan as well of professional wrestling, but I love the storylines.
Big fan.
There's that storyline of Aaron Rodgers going to the Vikings, and holy cow, like 2 straight quarterbacks that go from the Packers to the Jets to the Vikings. If he goes to the Steelers, it's just kind of sad to see, and this is what happened to the guy that was like one of the all-time greats in this franchise, tears the Achilles, has a so-so year, and really mediocre stay at best in New York with the Jets, and now it's on to the Steelers, and who knows what happens after that.
And it's a storyline the week of Packers-Steelers for sure. We all agree on that. But it's not a season-long storyline. He's not coming back to Lambeau. He's most likely facing them in Ireland, per reporting by Ben Brust. So, again, I get it. I don't want to have topics that make people click off the YouTube or turn off the radio. I don't want that. But what happened yesterday, if that didn't raise your antenna, then in the famous words of Winston Moss to me, then I can't help you. Because there's a peg on this one. It's not just random Rodgers talk. When Albert Breer says he's searching, what I'm hearing is that he's searching for a culture like they had in Green Bay. I'm not super interested in that. because I know he's not talking to Aaron Rodgers directly. But what happened yesterday in the Twin Cities, I'm sorry, okay? And if you didn't like it, I apologize. But I think it was the right topic to do. All right, we need to get to some Take It to the Bank that Jesse has lined up. Plus, of course, Wonelli. But we can't get to that until I tell you that Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets to the first day of the 2025 NFL Draft right here in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone where you'll be taken care of like a first-round pick. So don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry in to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. And no purchase is necessary. You must be a U.S. resident or of Wisconsin or Illinois. You must be age 21 or older to enter. It's void where prohibited. See official rules and full details at ESPN Wisconsin Contests.com. More with Justin Garcia, our cousin sub of the day. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson, and with it being opening day, you know that means summer is right around the corner. And for many of you, it might mean starting to think about a summer job. Madison School and Community Recreation is now hiring for summer jobs, and they have a whole bunch of positions available, including day camp and youth program leaders, outdoor adventure staff, support staff for individuals with disabilities, sports instructors, my personal favorite, you know we need them, officials, and a whole lot more. Full and part-time positions with daytime and evening hours are available. So no matter where you live, no matter what you're looking for, if you have a son or daughter coming back from college for the summer and they just need to pick up some extra work, Madison School and Community Recreation has opportunities available. If you are looking for some extra work during the summer, in the evenings, while the sun's out a little bit later, Madison School and Community Recreation. If you're between jobs looking for a full-time role, MSCR can have you covered. No matter your interest, schedule, or location, there is a position for everyone. At MSCR, you make an immediate impact in the community and gain meaningful experience. Start your summer adventure today. Apply at mscr.org.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 100.5 ESPN.
Lillard's going to tee up a three, and he splashes it through from the left wing.
Brought to you by Michelob Ultra, the official beer of the Milwaukee Bucks.
The Bucks wrapped up their 5-game road trip on a sour note, falling to the Denver Nuggets 127-117. Milwaukee played without Giannis and Damian Lillard, but still had 7 players score in double figures, including all 5 starters. Head coach Doc Rivers proud of his guys' effort despite the loss.
But we had a chance to win that game on the road in Denver, probably the toughest place in the league to play. I couldn't be more proud of our guys right now.
Brooke Lopez paced the Deer with a team-high 26 points to go along with 7 rebounds and 3 blocks. Ryan Rollins added 17 points off the bench in just 18 minutes of action. The Bucks finished their West Coast swing at 2-3 and fall to 40-32 overall. They're back home at Fiserv Forum Friday night to take on the New York Knicks.
This has been your Milwaukee Basketball Report on Madison's home for Bucks basketball, 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend. Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production. Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris celebrate the life and legacy of Junior Bridgman with Dr. Lloyd Walton and Paul Pressey. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
I'm John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. We've been at the heart of many magical moments, from engagements to weddings to sweet 16s. It warms my heart to be a part of these moments for 40 years with people I consider family. With the highest standards and an eye for classic beauty, enjoy a warm boutique setting at Goodman's Jewelers, where integrity shines in every gem. at 220 State Street. Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store in Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Being a kid isn't always easy, and dealing with anxiety, depression, or other mental health challenges can make life overwhelming. At Unity Point Health Meritor, the Child and Adolescent Psychiatry program is here to help. Their expert team provides compassionate, specialized care to support kids and teens on their journey to better mental health. To learn more about children and adolescent psychiatry and explore their resources, visit unitypoint.org/Madison. Because no one should struggle alone.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Don't ever see you sober if I'm breathing. Racing to the moonlight and I'm speeding. I'm headed to the
We'll get to Whoa Nelly coming up. But first, Jesse takes the reins with Take It to the Bank, presented by Associated Bank.
Take it to the bank, guys, presented by Associated Bank. Some NFL-inspired questions specifically about quarterbacks. Of course, Aaron Rodgers top of mind. He's now
We're not talking Aaron Rodgers anymore.
That's right. Let's talk
It's over.
Russell Wilson instead, signing a one-year deal with the New York Giants over the NCAA tournament weekend. Take it to the bank, Justin Garcia. Russell Wilson will start every game for the New York Giants this coming season.
No, I will not take that to the bank. He hasn't started every game in, 5 or 6 years? So, no.
I'm not going to take that to the bank either, but Jameis Winston and him both being there once again underscores what it's like to not have the guy. You're just you're trying everything. You're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping some of it sticks. And quite frankly, we'll see if the Vikings, from our discussion earlier, do the same thing.
It's a shame the Giants were on Hard Knocks last year, because I would love to see Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson with the curtain peeled back.
Do we know? We don't know yet who's this year, right? That has not been announced.
I don't believe so.
There were the rumors that they couldn't get an NFL team and they were going to have North Carolina with Bill Belichick do it.
I did see those rumors.
But
yeah.
I think that was debunked, that wasn't exactly the case, but I don't know what is. So I guess
Bears
we don't
were
know.
boring last year, by the way.
Yeah, every team's going to be boring now. The rest of it, they're all going to try and control that narrative or do their own team-issued thing like the Jets did, or be the Packers and just try to avoid it altogether.
Yeah, well, someday it's going to happen for us, and I hope I'm still covering the team when it happens. Next
up, take it to the bank. A player who has experience as a starting quarterback in the NFL will start Week 1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers still with 0 quarterbacks on their current roster as assembled right now.
Well, they've got Mason Rudolph.
I'm sorry, they do have Mason Rudolph, who does have starting experience.
Not a lot.
It's an easy one for me. Take it to the bank, yeah. You got Mason as a backup.
But is he going to start Week 1, which is the actual question? Or are they going to draft somebody? Are they going to move up in the draft? Are they going to take someone if they fall to them in their position late first round if they don't get Aaron Rodgers?
First of all, let's take a break here, and let's give the great Mason Rudolph his proper respect. In 5 years in the National Football League, 4 of them with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the man has started 18 games. 18 starts. So, come on. No, I think that they are up, creek without a paddle. I think Mason Rudolph's going to be their starting quarterback, and they may draft someone, but they're also not in a great. They made the playoffs last year with the Justin Fields, Russell Wilson job sharing arrangement. They need Aaron Rodgers as much, if not more, than Aaron Rodgers needs them, and that's why they're allowing him to string them along. Who else is available? Are you going to get Ryan Tannehill to come out of his 1-year retirement? Can you trade? Could you trade for Kirk Cousins? Is that an option for that? What are their other alternatives at this point other than Mason Rudolph, or hoping that the Vikings say, no, now we're really going to go with J.J. McCarthy, and then Aaron says, okay, I'll play for you guys now. What other choice? Am I missing one,
Yeah.
Justin?
No. No, I mean, this is, I would say take it to the bank because I'm with you. It's either Aaron Rodgers or it's Mason Rudolph that's starting, and you drafted somebody and are developing them.
Right. All right, that's Take It to the Bank, presented by Associated Bank, which I'll tell you about in a second. Jesse, I know that we stole your thunder with the J.J. McCarthy talk, but I just think that this underscores why this league is so quarterback-driven. Unless you have a guy you believe in, you are just always in search mode. And Tausch has talked about that so many times, almost as often as I've talked about Associated Bank. They've been with us from the beginning. They've been with the Packers from the beginning. And if you're a Packers fan and you want to show off your Packers fandom, of course, get Packers checking from Associated Bank. But more importantly, not only do you get that G logo on your Packers debit MasterCard and on your checks, you get great customer service. That's the important G, and they are the best in the business. They've got all the awards to prove it. I've experienced it personally, and whether it's early pay, whether it's credit monitoring, whether it's the 30,000-plus ATMs that you can get access to your money without a surcharge, they've got your back at Associated Bank. Go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. Whoa, Nelly is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison. The sound of summaries on ESPN Madison.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Madison's home of the Brewers.
Fly ball right field. Hit a ton. We're tied.
Catch every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
Get up. Get in. Gone.
Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by J&K Security Solutions and Revive Restoration.
Welcome to the Chevy Lightning Round. Guess the clues to win. First team, you're up.
Powerful, commanding, unstoppable.
Silverado.
Adventurous, fun, techie.
Trailblazer.
Stylish, nimble.
Trax.
Innovative, electric.
Blazer EV. Lightning Round champions. You've guessed all the right Chevy clues.
Wherever the year takes you, explore it together in the Chevy of your choice. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
Gruber Law Office's Thanalysis Live is back. March 29th at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Join Thanasis Adetokunbo for a live show that's sure to entertain like none other. Last year, it was a surprise appearance from ESPN's Stephen A. Smith. You never know what Thanasis has planned for 2025. Get your tickets to Thanalysis Live right now. Visit ESPN Madison on Twitter for event and ticket info. It's Gruber Law Office's Thanalysis Live, presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and Carbless. Also supported by the Prisoner Wine Company and McDonald's.
Outside In. That's what we call our Outdoor Living Unlimited showroom at 2018 South Stoughton Road. All the cool stuff you want outside in your yard displayed inside. Patios, decks, pavers, and an automated pergola, fire pit, outdoor kitchen, a putting green, and in-ground pool. Even a converting 3-season room that's either outside or inside. We are Outdoor Living Unlimited. Your outdoor living potential awaits you at our Outside In showroom, 2018 South Stoughton Road. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Jim Rutledge here, and I want to tell you about the Bruce Company, Dane County's premier retailer of outdoor furniture. They'll help you elevate your outdoor living space like they have for me. Exceptional craftsmanship, all the latest styles, colors, and durable materials that hold up to whatever Wisconsin weather brings. From deep seating to dining, pick your set, and the Bruce Company will customize it to fit your style. Visit their furniture showroom in Middleton and let their trained staff help you bring your outdoor dreams to life. The Bruce Company, your outdoor living experts.
Introducing the newest carbless flavor, Mango Vodka. Flavored with the essence of the ripest, freshest mangoes, carbless mango vodka will transport your taste buds to a sunny beach getaway. New flavor, still the same carbless crafted cocktails with 0 carbs, 0 sugars, and only 100 calories. Enjoy a refreshing vodka cocktail without the guilt. 4-packs of the new carbless mango vodka cocktail are available in stores near you. Find your bliss today at drinkcarbless.com and escape with every sip.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Did we get once an hour?
We did.
Usher George, you'll have to settle for that. Center field, once an hour. Time now for Usher George's favorite part of the show. It's Whoa Nelly.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocco's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa Nelly
on Wilde and Tausch.
We were talking about being optimistic earlier in the show today about Wisconsin sports, how there's been some pessimism in recent weeks and months about the state of the sports teams across the state.
Are my eyes failing me, or are you out of focus?
We got a webcam here. Sometimes it gets blurry. I don't know how to do it.
You've never looked better.
Yeah. I'm told that. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
It always could be worse. The Chicago White Sox are projected for their lowest win total ever. 56.5 wins projected for the Chicago White Sox this year. That is the lowest for any MLB team in 35 years. And it would be more wins than the team actually got last year in their lowly year of 2024. Are the Chicago White Sox the worst franchise right now in the major American professional sports? Justin Garcia.
Okay, so to peel the curtain back, I said there are 4 of the 5 men's pro teams in Chicago I despise. The White Sox are the one I do not. I was a White Sox fan in my younger days and have kept up with them since. I hated the Cubs even when I was a kid.
Is this what bonded you and Ashton Rotman?
Well, I think his lust for my job is what bonded us there, but that was part of it. I hated the Cubs as a kid. The White Sox would be on GN. I loved Frank Thomas, so
Lamar
I rooted
Hoyt,
for the Brewers, the
Harold
White Sox,
Baines,
and the Oakland A's because I was a front runner and they were winning championships when I got into baseball. It's not great. The ownership group is terrible. I would still put the Oakland A's up there as the worst professional organization in baseball, but pretty bleak days on the South Side.
They were 41 and 121.
They were really pushing hard for the worst record ever.
Mm-hmm. So they're also, I believe, ESPN Chicago is the flagship for them, are they not?
Yeah, listen to White Sox games on ESPN 1000.
The Athletics are so bad And yet, not only did they win 28 more games than the White Sox did, they didn't even finish in last place in the American League West.
No,
the
and
Angels
funny how it works out. They move out of Oakland, and now the son of the Gap founders is willing to spend money on his team.
That's odd. I wouldn't have expected that to be the case. Quick question, though, being the White Sox aficionado, we know Rob Domofsky was once a bat boy for them.
Nice.
What exactly is I don't want to call it exit plan. What exactly is their plan to return to relevance and exit the 41-win level? Like, are they losing on purpose to try and move to the suburb? Like, I'm not familiar with why they're as bad as they
Nashville.
are.
Well, it's not a great owner. I think it starts there. And we've seen how he's run the Chicago Bulls. So it is a historically cheap franchise that I believe Andrew Benintendi got the richest contract in team history. And that has, to put it mildly, not worked out very well. No, not Jason Benetti.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, that in itself.
That would have really been something.
Well, that in itself is another separate conversation of I'm not personally a fan of Jason Benetti, so we're going to let him leave and bring in somebody else.
Even though he's really good at his job.
Even though he's very good at his job and renowned in every single sport. Yeah, it's just a terrible ownership group, and I don't think there is a plan.
Fair enough. Whoa Nelly!
Last one, I actually went out for breakfast this morning with our general manager here at ESPN Madison, Ben. We had a nice little breakfast meeting this morning. It was wonderful.
Did he choose to do that with you?
He did, yeah. Breakfast, I think,
he's a great leader. I love him.
I think breakfast is the best meal to go out for. I love that it's early. You start the day. You still have the whole day in front of you. Good options to choose from. Relatively affordable compared to the steak dinners Jason likes to get when he goes out for dinner.
I don't know if you've seen the price of eggs recently, Jesse. I don't know that they're very affordable.
They're down now.
Yeah,
they're a little cheaper now.
We're getting there with the eggs.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, if you could only go out for one for the rest of your life, which meal are you choosing?
The rest of your life?
Yep.
I love going out for breakfast, but it's a lot more work to make lunch or dinner. So as much as I love breakfast, for the rest of my life, that's a lot of work then to make lunch and dinner every day. It's a terrible question.
All right. This is a complicated answer. So I don't eat lunch.
What?
Yeah, I don't see the appeal to it. Like, nah.
So wait, so you eat a breakfast and then you don't eat anything till dinner?
I seldom eat breakfast too. Like, my breakfast is usually like I'll have a protein bar or like oats every other day or so. That's it. Like, I'll have something like some type of protein throughout the day, but it's really just dinner that I eat. I don't like to go out to restaurants because I would much rather, well, and not just the sanitary things that we've gotten into before, but I would much rather prepare the meal myself. Like, I've gotten very into cooking. Oh, yeah. So if I want something, I'll research. When's the time for these ingredients? What's the best way to prepare it? What do you pair it with? And just start learning how to cook it. And I'll do that myself versus going to a restaurant because I just enjoy that more. But the one dish I refuse to make at home, or item I refuse to make at home, are pancakes. So I guess on a technicality, I would choose breakfast.
Remember when Justin first started joining our show, and we knew very little about him other than that he had some phobias about food.
Anti-potluck.
Crock pot items.
Just a clean, healthy person, yeah.
Okay, well, I had a question from my interaction with a friend of mine this morning that I want to wrap up the show with and get your feedback on. It was a text message from someone who was postponing a call/meeting that we were supposed to have. And I'm going to read you the text, and you guys are going to tell me if this was IPT. We'll do that to wrap up Wilde and Tausch with Justin Garcia, our cousin sub of the day. Stick around.
We're on the Brewers.
They're really good at identifying talent. They're really good at developing talent.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
This is one of the best organizations in Major League Baseball.
100.5 ESPN.
Mark Tauscher here for the great team at Everlight Solar. I'm here to tell you about two significant switches you're going to want to know about. First, remember, the radio home of Milwaukee baseball has changed this year to 100.5 ESPN. And second, let me tell you about how my family made the switch to solar energy with the great team at Everlight Solar. We'd been thinking about making the switch for a while, but we weren't exactly sure where to even start. That's when we met with the Everlight Solar team, and they outlined the entire process and educated us on the benefits of making the switch. It was super simple. Join us in saving a ton of money and creating a greener environment for our family and the community by switching to solar. Save money and help save the planet. Learn more and schedule a free consultation at everlightsolar.com. That's everlightsolar.com.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by The Jump Around. Don't miss new episodes of this exclusive digital show talking all things Wisconsin sports, premiering every Thursday at 12:30, streaming live on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. 8 years since Wisconsin men's basketball reached the NCAA tournament's second weekend, while in football, 8 years since the program has won a New Year's Six bowl game. Program's hungry to fight for a title, but is it realistically in the cards? Brad Nortman with his perspective during Wilde and Tausch.
There are moments where it feels like you're close, but taken holistically, those look like blips. I think in order to win a championship, you have to consistently be that team. So you have to be able to have so many opportunities to win a national championship that then the stars align when you do it.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
When you're in the right place at the right time, things get done. The important things, like knowing what you need and how it all works. Talking truck. Fixing it right the first time. At Zimbrick Chevrolet, our people get it done right and now. That's how you know you're in the right place at the right time. And you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet.
Being a Pella consultant means helping people build their dreams.
Customers really appreciate just how prepared we are. All the samples, the videos, pictures.
We are with you from start to finish. You literally have a friend from beginning to end and beyond with your project.
Our Pella team simplifies the process, taking time to listen and find the right solution for you. And right now, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2025. All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Madison athletes seeking elite training need to get started today at Total Athlete Performance. TAP is here to serve and educate the serious athlete with their speed, agility, and semi-private training options. Sessions are now available in both Windsor and their TAP facility inside the Verona Athletic Center. Also access remote training anytime, anywhere with the Total Athlete Performance app. Visit tapwisconsin.com for subscriptions, including monthly payment options. That's tapwisconsin.com.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
We're on the Badgers.
It was successful but also disappointing. That's just what this season was. I don't think any of us went into the season going, they're going to be a 3 seed. They're going to be really good this year. They're going to be competing for a Big Ten championship again.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
All right, to wrap things up, this is the text message I got this morning from someone who I was supposed to talk to at 8 o'clock. I'm running late, sorry. Was in a hospital waiting room until 1 a.m., so I'm dragging a bit today. Is that not IPT? Like, Were you hit by a car? Was someone you love seriously injured? And did they call Gruber Law Offices? Hi, Wooly. Come right in. We're just doing our show. It's all good. Is that not
That's, I mean, that seems like, I don't know this person, but it seems like you're casting the net waiting for whoa, what happened? What's wrong?
I'm just glad they're okay. Jesse, you wouldn't even send a text like this.
Yeah.
No, I would not. Absolutely not. You're fishing for it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad. It turns out that they were okay. Someone close to them, a relative of theirs had had a situation. So I'm glad everyone's all right. But those are the kinds of I mean, come on. You had me worried, and as it turned out, unnecessarily, although I hope everything's okay with your loved one. All right, that's it for us today. Justin, was this everything you dreamed of, or would you rather just do Bucks talk and Bucks house?
No, this was everything I dreamed of. Whenever I get the chance to get in there and mix it up with Jesse Nelson, I look forward to it every single time. And your favorite broadcast, we got 2 more of them coming up. I don't think I'm at liberty to say when, but there's at least
and Gabe
2
on the call?
more instances of myself and Gabe Neitzel coming up this regular season.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait. All right, that's it for us today. Thanks for coming along for the ride with us. Thanks to Jeff Levering. Have a great day. Enjoy opening day, everybody. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode?